and there you go.
It's amazing to me how often you can walk into a convenience store or even a grocery store. You can complete the entire transaction and never have the person that is checking you out speak to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, again, that goes back to parenting. I mean, but at the same time, training. These young kids are not trained to even look at you or to speak to you. And when they do, you want to give a tip, Valerie, and I think that's a great point. You want to give to them because you've had a good experience.
Yeah, my tip is usually read a book. You need to read a book,
that's
kid.
Right. Speaking of that, do you have any books out on etiquette, Valerie? I love that stuff because I break so many rules.
Do It Right is the book on etiquette, and then I've written 8. So the 2 that are on Amazon right now, that's one, and it's good. It really is a good book, even if I wrote it, because it's just tip, all these tips about all these topics. But the other one I want to mention for women is called Monday Morning Leadership for Women.
Okay.
And that one it was fun to write just because I was 2 voices. There was a mentor and a mentee, and they were talking, and the leadership lessons were through their conversation. So I would turn my head at one side, and I'd write from the mentor, and then I'd turn my head and write for the mentee. I recommend that to women.
All right. Great stuff. All available on Amazon. Valerie, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.
And you too. Bye
right.
for now.
Thanks so much. Valerie Sokolowski. You can look her up on Amazon.
Don't catch the wintertime blues. Swing into golf savings at 15 of the area's top courses for $75 with the Town Square 2023 Seize the Deal golf card. Yes, that's right. $75 gets you 15 rounds of golf. Some courses include Shamrock, Crystal Springs, MV Golf, Delta Knolls, Barker Brook, and more. There are a limited number of cards available, so don't delay. Get your $75 Town Square Seize the Deal golf card at seizethedeal.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
For your financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Jim McGuire, branch manager of Baird's Utica office. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning for all areas of your life. Retirement, family, and estate plans, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate our advice with your tax and legal advisors, so you can be confident all your plans are working together for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
A couple of things we'll talk about here coming up in a little bit. Last night, the dog, I think they're calling the dog that was dropped off in at the Herkimer County Humane Society, they're calling that dog
Miracle.
Miracle, yeah. I watched, first of all, Judge Stone was at the helm, and the courtroom was crowded last night. And outdoors, there were all these people protesting and holding up signs, justice for Miracle. You know the old thing, if a puppy and a baby fell into a pond, which one would you save?
Yeah. Yep.
I think there'd be a debate there last night. Like, there are so many things that happen in this world that are just horrific to human beings, and I don't think we get the same reaction. And, the good news is that the dog was ultimately rescued, which is wonderful, and is being rehabilitated back to a healthy status, as healthy as the dog can be, because I think overbreeding is a part of what's going on with that pit bull. But, wow, man, people and animals, it's unbelievable.
It is.
I'm not being critical. I'm just like, I wouldn't, that's not necessarily for me. I want the book to be thrown at somebody who's abusing an animal, and maybe our laws should, and they probably should be. Our laws should be stronger, but I don't know.
So I want to say, when we talked about this yesterday, I believe I misspoke. I'm not 100% sure, because there's actually a case in Oswego County where the person is charged with aggravated animal cruelty, and
yeah, I saw that story this
so,
morning.
and it's a felony charge. I think I had referenced that most of the laws governing such offenses were ag and markets, and I don't necessarily know that's the case. I think I might be remembering the way it was before they changed the law. But in this particular case in Herkimer County, that is correct. Paul Carlos Palenzuela was in court yesterday. He faces a charge of over driving, torturing, and injuring animals, failure to provide proper sustenance, and abandonment.
And he pleaded not guilty, by the way.
He did.
Yeah. What was his name again? What's his name?
Paul Carlos Palenzuela.
All right. So for dog abusers, we're using the middle name like we do capital offenders.
Yes, like the serial killers, right?
Yes. You're talking about a story out of West Monroe. A dog owner was arrested Monday after police seized his dog that was about 30 pounds underweight. You can see the dog's ribs. Chance is the name of the dog. A chocolate lab that is 6 or 7 years old was found February 10th in the backyard in West Monroe, Oswego County. This one is probably different than what you were talking about yesterday.
Oh, no. Yeah,
this is it. Chance was in a detached addition to the home and was filled with feces, which was filled with feces and urine with no access to food or water, according to Trooper Keeler. It appeared the dog hadn't been let outside in months, which, again, throw the book at these deviants. And I in a situation like this, I am all for putting together a registry. If you are charged with abusing an animal, you should not be allowed to get another animal. I don't care if it's a horse, a dog, a cat. You shouldn't be allowed. You should be off the list. Or at the very least, you should be on a list so that the dog pound or the Humane Society or whatever can look at that list and say, I'm sorry, we're not selling to you.
Look, absolutely, I completely agree. And to your point earlier, and I said this when we were joined by Mr. Schrader yesterday, I don't see an animal as a child. I do see it as part of the family, if you will. But
Chance was immediately taken to his owner, Byron Phillips, 38, who was later charged with aggravated animal cruelty. If convicted, aggravated animal cruelty, if convicted at trial, he could face up to 4 years in prison. Which is, I believe, the same sentence for someone who attempts to rape a woman. Should it be that way? Or are we all in agreement that the attempted rape should be a little more of a severe charge, a severe penalty?
Yes, I agree.
Highland Animal Hospital in Central Square took Chance in and treated him for various medical issues. The dog is expected to make a full recovery and be adopted. you want to comment on this, 315-736-0186. We're also on WIBX AM 950, 106.9 FM on our app, which is easy to download. You just go to your phone App Store or Google Play and down away. That's what they say, Davey, and down away. Download it. It's free.
Yes. Yeah. Easy. 1, 2, 3.
Easy. 1, 2, free. And the other is that we're on YouTube. You can just go to YouTube. If you subscribe and like the program, you'll automatically get a little email that'll say when we're up and live. And you just click on that, and there you go. On your big screen TV, whatever you have.
And a full catalog of past shows as well.
It's all up there. Everything's up there. The good, the bad, and the really, really ugly.
Especially this morning. The very ugly.
Okay, so anybody see the moon?
I actually did last night.
I thought it was really quite. At one point, it was very clear. Davey, you're shaking your head. I don't look at no moon. I don't look at no moon. You're not a moon gazer.
I fell asleep at 7:45 and woke up at 4:30 this morning.
Wow. Well, you could have seen the moon. I mean, the moon was out early. Anyway, I believe, a special moon. It almost looked like a lunar eclipse of some sort.
So at first I thought, no, that's just a typical crescent moon. And then as I looked at it again, I'm like, yeah, it does look like almost an eclipse.
But it was a razor thin crescent.
Right.
It was almost completely eclipsed by, I assume, that would be the shadow of the Earth, right?
Right, I guess so.
Right. So it is a special. It's a special moon. It's called the waning crescent. The waning crescent phase, where this is the phase where the moon is less than 50% illuminated, but has not yet reached 0% illumination, which would be a new moon. I'm glad you're following that. The crescent moon will rise at around midnight, transit the meridian after sunrise, before setting it. This is like going back to school, isn't it? But either way, it looked like a crescent, but a razor-thin crescent. It almost looked as if there was a planet completely eclipsing the moon, which there clearly was not. It's the shadow. But still, quite an impressive sight last night, and I assume that if it stays clear, which it's not supposed to, that you would see it tonight. Unfortunately, snow's supposed to develop. We've got a winter weather advisory in effect. It's going to be sloppy tomorrow morning with sleet, snow, freezing rain. Depending on where you are, you might get more snow than sleet and freezing rain. It's supposed to be windy, and it's just going to be a lovely couple of days before all of this turns to very cold on Friday, when temperatures on Friday will not get out of the teens. That's something we haven't been overly used to this year, right?
No, let me see here. They did upgrade it to lower 20s, but right, we haven't dealt with much of this at all.
It's going to be cold. Either way, it is going to be cold.
Friday night's low is 2, and Saturday night and Sunday night were around 12 to 14 degrees. So, yeah, right, we have not dealt with much of this at all.
Did you see what happened with Michigan State?
I did not.
You know that after the shooting there, the school suspended all extracurricular events, all athletic events, everything. Last night they played their first game since the shooting.
And they won.
Michigan State, Davey, you're right, knocked off number 17, the Hoosiers, 80-65.
Wow,
blew them out. And that's like what I wanted to happen after 9/11 for the was it the Yankees in the World Series? You wanted them to go all the way.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
That was the Arizona one, right?
Yeah. Here's that happened last night. What else do I have? Starbucks thinks they're onto something brand new, something that you'll love. You're going to yearn for. You're going to wait in line even longer to get.
I doubt that there's anything new in the coffee game that hasn't been invented yet, unless it's a flavor they don't typically use. But let's hear it.
I think you're going to have to step back and say, I was wrong. This is olive oil infused coffee. Ever heard of it?
No.
I have heard where you call it like a fat bomb. If you're on a low carb diet or a no carb diet, you'll put a tablespoon of butter in your coffee or your espresso.
You're right. I've never heard of this.
That is a thing. But in this case, they think they're onto something that's going to be the next big thing. The world's largest coffee chain plans to launch a line of olive oil-infused drinks set to debut in the company's coffee shops. They'll begin in Italy. It'll hit the U.S. this spring.
I'm no health expert, but now we're selling fat bombs at the coffee shop.
The Alito.
We don't have an obesity
they're
problem,
calling
I
it
swear.
The Alito beverages. Well, the thing is, if you're on a keto diet, you're losing weight when you eat fat. Weight goes down, cholesterol, you never know where that's going to go. Starbucks interim chief executive and longtime leader is overseeing the project, says this is going to be huge. This will be the most significant, transformative thing we've done in decades, he says.
Well, maybe I stand corrected. But, this is like, this is an odd analogy, but I'll take a stab at it. I'm not knocking anybody who's on the carb diet, and I understand if you're on that kind of a diet.
I'm on it.
It would help, right?
Or it would help. It would be nice if it would help. If I'd stay on it probably would help.
But you know how, like, when Gatorade first came out, it was for athletes who were looking to replenish vitamins and minerals and things that they were losing through, excessive athletic
your
performance.
Electrolytes, putting electrolytes back into the body.
Thank you. Right? Mm-hmm. But, like, it's not – it'll achieve that. And it's got a lot of carbs in it. It's got a lot of things in it, and that's good for you if you're out on a soccer field, football field, baseball field, running around all day. But when you're downing 4 to 6 of those things while you're sitting in front of the TV playing a video game, those extra carbs and electrolytes add up because you're not actually burning them. So I could just see people who are not on a carb diet having 2 or 3 of these a day.
And yeah, right. And meanwhile, I think we've misrepresented fat over the years. Where fat is not as unhealthy, probably as it's all these sugary drinks. Or maybe it's just moderation and a combination of everything would be okay. Instead, we don't deal in moderation. We just go excessive, like, oh, my God, olive oil's good. Love that olive oil.
Are you familiar with the Better Fat Sisters? I think it's Mono and Polly. Is that who they are? I think so. I'm serious. We ran a PSA for years here.
Is their last name Saturate?
Unsaturated, right?
Anyway, interesting. And it'll be coming to Starbucks, they say, in the spring. And usually what hits Starbucks ends up hitting everywhere else. Yeah. There'll be bottled versions in the stores and all of that. An Ohio woman, and as a matter of fact, we're going to speak with her, Davey, coming up in about 15 minutes. An Ohio woman has exploded on TikTok after telling her story about 2 different doctors. And wait till you hear her story. So here's what happened. She had pain in her side. She went to her family doctor, and the family doctor said, I think you have appendicitis, and you got to go to the emergency room. I can't help you from here. So she went to the emergency room, and they checked her over. And in the emergency room, the physician said, no, you have an ovarian cyst. So I'm going to give you some medicine. They gave her medicine for to take care of the pain, and they sent her home. After a little while, and she'll tell the full story. I'm probably paraphrasing a little bit here. Mm-hmm. After a little while, she ends up, in maybe it's a day or 2, she goes back to the emergency room because the pain has gotten even worse. And once again, it's an ovarian cyst. And they gave her an antibiotic and more medicine to kill the pain. So now she's at the point of just much excruciating pain. When it's all said and done, it finally is determined. Now, this is when I say it's all said and done, she's under the scalpel. She is being operated on to remove the cyst. When the surgeons said there's no cyst, she has appendicitis, and her appendix are about to burst, which could very well have killed her. And she's out on a rampage talking about this, because if you don't advocate for yourself in some of these situations, you never know what could happen to you.
Wow.
And we'll speak with her. She has millions of views on her TikTok and Instagram talking about this. And what I think shocked her the most, and we'll speak with her about it, is the number of people who have reached out to her to say, oh, my God, the same thing happened to me. Or similar type stories.
Okay.
Not just necessarily appendicitis. It's quite a story. We'll speak with her coming up in a few minutes.
They're practicing medicine, Bill.
I guess that's exactly it.
Practicing,
right?
yeah.
Today is National Margarita Day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know why, because it's also Ash Wednesday today.
Yeah.
The day after Fat Tuesday. Today is the day we begin fasting. Traditionally, in the church, you would not be able to eat meat. In fact, years and years ago, fasting. They were fasting, but then it went to no meat until would it be? Is it Good Friday or Easter? I think it's Good Friday when you can eat meat. I don't remember, but either way, now today it's just Fridays. It is Good Friday, right, Davey? Now today it's just Fridays. The church recommends no meat on Fridays, and that all begins this week, which sets off the huge launch of the great fish fry season.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, on our website, we've got an A to Z list of great places to get a fish fry.
There are many.
I mean, who doesn't do one this time of year?
Yeah.
Like the fire departments, the chess club, in addition to every restaurant that's out there.
I don't know what I have at home, but I might have one of these. This woman had a first generation. You know what year the iPhone came out? 2000. I'll just tell you. 2007.
Oh, okay.
A woman has sold a first generation iPhone from 2007. It was never opened. She just had it sitting there in a drawer, never opened it.
Oh, she never. Wow.
Never used
I didn't
it,
realize that.
Never opened it. She just sold it for $63,000.
Well, 7360186. I've got an 8 Plus here, and if anybody wants to put in a bid on this,
It's
just
been
call
open,
Smitty.
but maybe that adds to it.
And well used. But I finally got a new phone yesterday. Speaking of phones,
We'll talk about that.
But so what did that? Oh, go ahead. You got
Here's
audio?
Karen Green on an episode of Doctor in the Dive, telling the story of why she kept the phone for so long, and in its original packaging. And do I have it? I guess I don't have it. I can't bring it to you. But anyway, I'll play that audio in a second. She sold it for $63,000.
I didn't realize it was in a. I mean, I want to say when I read it, I knew it was in its original packaging, but I didn't understand that it hadn't been opened or used. So
Hadn't been opened, hadn't been used. I have a few of these older ones that we didn't sell, and I wonder what they'll go for.
Yeah, interesting.
They've been opened, they've been used. That's the problem. I think that's the key to this whole thing. I think we're ready now. Here she is. Her name is Karen Green.
2007, I got a new job, and my friends bought me the latest first generation
Because
iPhone.
it's a new job, and you're all excited.
New job,
and you've got to do
it's got
this,
all these neat things on there to do a new job, like a calendar and all this stuff.
Didn't open it.
I had just gotten a brand new phone. And then a couple years went by, and somebody was like, hey, an Apple collector might want that. It's the original iPhone and never broke the seal. And I'm like, it's an iPhone, so it'll never go out of date.
So she had it appraised 3 years ago. They said it was worth about $5,000. It just sold for $63,000
at auction.
I don't know how she did it, whether it was on eBay or wherever, but she sold it for $63,000.
But if there was that much of a price jump in its assessment, if you will,
I
wonder.
The assessments are estimates, right?
Yeah.
It really is all about what someone is willing to pay.
Right.
And if you start getting one of those bidding battles back and forth, it can grow to a price that will shock people. And I think this certainly is pretty shocking. California man has earned another Guinness record. Everybody's out talking about the Guinness record. There's a story up on our website that you can check out about our world's largest dish of pasta. We did it with Tony's Pizzeria many years ago and actually had a wedding during it, dating back to Valentine's Day 19 years ago. But this Guinness record is for visiting Disneyland. This guy has been to Disneyland 2,995 times in a row. Here's Jeff Wright talking about his enormous amounts of visits when he was in the middle of breaking the big record.
You know, this is going to probably end up in even Guinness World Records, and that wasn't even something when this first started that was planned. I come in the evening, as long as you're in the gate before closing, you're good to go. It brings back reflection along with looking to the future, kind of like what Walt had planned out.
He's also the inspiration for the phrase, get a life, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, really.
I saw this story the other day, and now it's in my feed. A pizzeria in Ohio is still getting a little bit of backlash, but their numbers of sales have skyrocketed. because they now have a sign that reads, and it's been there actually for a couple of years, a sign that reads, "Now hiring non-stupid people." So apparently that is offensive to some. Others are all about it, and their numbers have increased. Here's the owner's daughter, Jaden Dunnigan, talking about the reasoning behind the help wanted sign, "Now hiring non-stupid people."
It's more humor than anything. It's not meant to target anyone like that or be rude. A lot of people that we've hired, there's really no worth ethic behind them. So I guess that's the meaning behind the non-stupid.
I just have to say that I can't even believe she has to come out and explain it's meant to be a humorous thing, and
yeah,
it
is ridiculous. But
I can't believe you're going against the stupid people who are stupid. You're discriminating against stupid people. I'm stupid, and you're discriminating against.
If I'm her, I'm encouraging people to be offended. I want as much attention as I can possibly get because the people who live in this community, didn't she say they're doing very well now?
The pizzeria their numbers are skyrocketing.
Because
people are all about it. They like the attitude.
They like the attitude, and it's almost an ad for your service.
Right,
we have
right.
intelligent people. We have people who know what they're doing here.
Yep.
They're not idiots. I love it.
Hey,
and if you're offended,
don't go there.
Yeah, seriously.
And as long as we're talking about discrimination, former Mets pitching coach Phil Regan, did you see this? Has filed an age discrimination lawsuit against the New York Mets and former general manager Brody Van Wagenen, claiming that the franchise did not keep him on staff after the 2019 season due to the organization preferring someone younger. And I'll bet someone said that to him. I think we're just going to go with someone younger. And if you said that, you deserve to be sued because you don't have to say that. Right?
No.
You don't have to say that. It's like, listen, the numbers aren't there. That's it.
It's interesting because Brody Van whatever he is was, right, he was kind of an agent who became the GM temporarily. Yeah. And I don't think that lasted long, but he had no idea what he was doing as a general manager. And how old is the coach? Does it say there?
Regan, who was 82 in 2019.
Well, because I just heard Don Lemon the other day. He said pitching coaches are past their prime when they reach their 80s. So
yeah,
I think it was justified then.
He held the season until the conclusion when he's replaced by current pitching coach Jeremy Hefner, who was 33 at the time in December of 2019. His attorney wrote that the franchise ditched Reagan as pitching coach because of his age instead of rewarding him for his masterful performance.
Well,
and I don't know about you, but as a Mets fan, we're still waiting for masterful performances.
Yeah, that is true. Hefner, by the way, I didn't.
Davey, can you grab her for me?
Obviously, didn't know this part of the story, but I did notice when he became the pitching coach. I remember thinking, "Gosh, it wasn't that long ago that he was a prospect for the Mets, and pitching for the Mets, and it just made me think wow, his career, had run its course.
Yeah.
And now he's already a coach, and he's so young. But right, he was only 32 or 33 at the time.
Here's what his attorney says, and this is about the numbers, right? The Mets had a 4.74 ERA under the previous pitching coach. Under his watch, they had a 3.84 ERA.
Okay, well that's great.
Yeah, so he's saying my numbers were actually better. Why'd you get rid of me?
Yeah, I almost feel like this is one of those things where it's a connection. Does the coach, do the players respect the coach or the pitching coach? And do they connect with them? It's all about that today, right? I mean, look at the NBA.
If they said we're looking for somebody younger, they deserve to be sued.
I agree. Oh, I agree.
Otherwise, they could have gotten rid of him for any reason. And I believe in New York State, you can get rid of anybody for any reason.
We're changing direction there, buddy.
That's the
what
good
we're
line.
doing. It's got nothing to do with your age.
Nope.
We're just
Actually,
changing direction.
We really like you. Here's your box. We think put your belongings in it. We just think you're a wonderful employee, and you've been great. Get along now. And that's just what happens.
By the way, we're hiring for Mr. Met on Wednesday nights if anybody's interested.
Amanda Bushelman, I was just telling you about the story about, you got to be an advocate for yourself out there. And if you're not, anything could happen to you once you get into the medical world. And Amanda has a story that is just blown up. And it all started with a pain in her side. Hello, Amanda. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Wonderful. And I'm glad you're alive because you could have died.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, your appendix could have burst, and that could have been really bad.
It really could have. I could have left 3 children motherless.
Oh,
wow.
my goodness.
Hey, tell us what happened.
I went to my primary care doctor with some pain on my right side. It was a Friday last month, and he suspected appendicitis and sent me to the emergency room. When I got there, they did the PA did some scans and some blood work, and when the doctor came in, he very confidently told me that I had a cyst on my ovary. And I said, well, that's not possible. I had both of my ovaries surgically removed 10 years ago.
Can you believe that?
Oh, my goodness. It gets worse.
And he said, and then he had so much audacity to argue with me and tell me, no, you didn't. I can see it on the scan.
Wow.
And I said, well, I was there the day they did it. I was present for that surgery. And
Yeah.
they 100% removed both of my ovaries. So whatever it is you're seeing on my scan is not that. It upset him that I questioned him. And he got angry. And he said, what hospital, what doctor? And he started searching. And he said, it's likely if you had a hysterectomy, they only took your uterus. And I said, I assure you, I don't have ovaries. He looks it up, and sure enough, there it is, the surgery I had 10 years ago. So he said, well, then if it's not that, it must be diverticulitis.
Oh.
And he sent me home with an antibiotic. I was writhing in pain all weekend. Nothing got better. I only got worse. I called my doctor, my primary care doctor, again on Monday, and I said, what do I do? I'm not better. This is what they're telling me it is. And he's like, for the love of God, go back to the hospital. I think you have appendicitis.
Yeah.
See a different doctor. So I went back, and it was the same thing. I was sent home with, well, you're not dying today. So they wanted to get me in and get me out.
Is it that they read the, because everything now is all computerized, and you see what the previous doctor said, and so the new doctor comes in and looks at it, and he's like, well, that doctor said it must be that, so that's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they did. But then he did say, well, let's do an MRI. So he did do another scan, and they determined that that little spot that the other doctor was calling a cyst, he said, that looks like it might be a tumor. And I'm like, great. So he referred me to my OBGYN, and now I think I have cancer, right? It's a tumor. Tumors are scary.
Yeah.
So I went to my OBGYN, who said that is likely just leftover endometriosis from when you were younger. She said, we're going to go in and take it out. She's like, but that shouldn't hurt. That's not in a place that would cause this kind of pain.
Right.
She said, so while I'm in there, I'm going to have a look around, if that's okay. And I'm like, please do. And when I woke up from the surgery, my husband said, you had appendicitis the whole time. Wow. And while I was out, she had to call in a general surgeon to remove my appendix.
Wow. That is
How scary is that?
unbelievable. It's extremely scary considering that if your appendix were to have burst, that it can lead to the inevitable death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do you know what we can do about it as patients? Nothing.
Right.
It's not malpractice because I didn't die. And I wasn't permanently maimed.
So you went down that road to talk to an attorney, but what about the pain and suffering that you went through, just thinking for even a few days that you had cancer,
and the literal pain and suffering that you went through,
and the writhing in pain and praying not to die. Honestly, all of the attorneys, and I called several, they all told me that's just the laws are in place to protect the doctors, not the patients.
Yeah.
And but I can tell you, even though that hospital will misdiagnose somebody, they don't miss in their billing department. They sent me my $4,000 deductible bill within 2 weeks.
You had to, and this is like when you go get your car fixed and they misdiagnose, and then you got to go back 2 or 3 times. You get charged for all 3 times. That blows, and I think the same thing happens at a hospital.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
They are charging me for everything. $4,000 is what they're saying I owe.
Wow.
So
for sending me home to die.
You said that patients can't do anything, and I just wonder, like, when you talk to your primary care physician, is there any opportunity to be like, look, if you think this was what this is, can you call the department over there and let them, have a conversation with that guy? Because I don't know what he's talking about, but you guys are obviously seeing different things.
No communication. By the way, this is Amanda Bushelman, She is from out of the area, but is telling her story to really inspire everyone, all women, everyone, to be your own self-advocate and to be careful because you can get misdiagnosed and it could mean, ultimately, could mean death. Amanda Bushelman went in with what her family doctor said was appendicitis, but nobody else agreed. And by the time they were done, they thought you had cancer. All of them were wrong. Your family doctor was right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was very scary. And what's really scary is this TikTok that I certainly did not intend to go viral. I've had over 30,000 women tell me their stories of similar experiences where they have almost everything is blamed on our reproductive organs.
Right.
Some women had cancer that was blamed on period cramps. Other women have had their birth control move around in their body and they're told to take a Tylenol when their uterus has been perforated. It's really scary.
Did they also have a similar case where their own doctor diagnosed it as something else, or are these just diagnoses at the hospital?
My understanding is they're all misdiagnoses at the emergency room.
So ultimately, you had your appendix removed.
Yeah,
and
I did.
And all ended well, but it could have been a disaster.
It was a very, very long 3 weeks of lots of pain, feeling very unwell. But I'm a mom. I didn't have time to just sit in my bed and be miserable.
Yeah.
And I had to continue with life. And so that was rough. Surgery was rough. But now all is well. I'm healed, and I'm an accidental advocate, but I certainly will be one.
You know what I found? Because I had a situation a few years back, and I find it if you go to get a second opinion, which is really what you ended up doing, but you went back to the same place. That
yes,
what I found is this is what happens when you. So if you go to place one and they diagnose you with something, all right, I'm going to go get a second opinion. Yep, you should definitely do that. Well, I traveled for a second opinion, and it's almost always happens when I've seen this. Is if you go to like a rival medical institution, they're like, well, let's just see. I'm not sure what they said is absolutely correct. And they go out of their way to try to prove the other hospital wrong. But in your case, they're all going off the same notes. The two doctors are probably friends, right?
I can only imagine that they are.
I mean, it's possible. And, he doesn't want to, if he said that's what it is, that's probably what it is. I mean, this is just terrible.
For me, another one of the really just punches in the face for me was when I looked at my chart, because that's accessible online through the patient portal, the first doctor listed me as anxious.
Wow.
I wasn't anxious. I had appendicitis and I was in pain.
Yeah.
And I guess I argued too much with what he thought was his expertise. But I've been in this body for 42 years. He's only known it for 42 seconds.
That's a really good point. I mean, and that's the thing that you'll hear from people is that you know your body. And if you feel like there's something going on, you really have to be your own advocate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And mothers and farmers, we don't have time to go to the hospital, right? We have too much to do. So if I'm at the hospital begging for surgery, there's probably something very wrong.
Yep. Wow. Well, that's an amazing story. And the fact that you're telling it and you're telling it to people, especially women but it could be anybody, who you got to really and you're right. It is women are you'll get she's just emotional. She's I mean, and that's just that's a real discrimination.
It absolutely is. It's anxiety and anxious presenting is the nowadays version of women are just hysterical from yesteryear. And it's disgusting, and it needs to change.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, how can people find your videos and your TikToks and all that?
It's my username is @AmandaBman.
Okay.
And I would love some more views and some more friends on TikTok and some women so we can band together to make some serious change. And I think we can.
Good for you. We appreciate what you're doing out there, Amanda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right,
Bye-bye.
have a great day.
Wow.
How about that? And, it's like, wow, you're just emotional. You want to say something that's going to anger a woman? Say that. When they tell you they're in pain. Nah, you're just emotional.
Wow.
You're just being a woman. Wow. Because, that can't be said anywhere anywhere in a workplace in America, but apparently in an Ohio hospital they can say that.
Yeah, that's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, it just makes you wonder. Is it not? What's the word I want to use? Is it not appropriate? That's not exactly proper protocol to call up the other doctor and go, "Can we hash this out? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing?"
Yeah, right. But I think that it takes going in with an open mind. I think sometimes you go in, and I imagine it's very difficult for doctors today, where everybody has Googled everything. They think they've figured it all out on WebMD.
Yep.
So I think that they come in armed with all of this stuff. And there was an old episode of, I think it was the Brady Bunch, where, I don't know, was it mono or some sort of sickness that one of them had? And they were looking in a medical journal, and the two pages were stuck together. And when he turned the page, it was like death was looming. And the whole thing was all about that. Today, it's so much worse than that. Today, even taking medicine today, you start reading, the side effects. And then there's the rare side effects. When you get to the rare side effects, your tongue is going to turn black. You could go into hyperventilation at any time. And, oh, by the way, I don't know, you're going to want to jump off a bridge or something. These side effects are terrible to read. And I think that it probably frustrates doctors. But that's just not cool. Got a break. We have news coming straight ahead. Next hour, speaking on a positive note of the hospital world. Yesterday, Jeff and I were able to take a tour of the new Wynn Hospital. Wow, has it come a long way?
It really has.
And is it going to be a major, major improvement? So we'll have everybody in coming up. Bob Schofield will be in, and also Dr. Hall will speak with him. But we have photos that you're going to be able to see on our YouTube feed. If you want to do that, you'll see the photos, and Bob will walk us through what each one of these photos are and talk about the new hospital and all of that. And if you'd like, you can just go. We'll have a story up on our website in a few minutes that'll actually have the photos, and you'll be able to kind of go along with us on the web if you want to do that from home, if you don't have the YouTube feed up. Looking for the YouTube feed, just search Keeler live stream. Next hour, we'll have the pictures up, and you'll be able to see the whole thing. Pretty cool. Got a break. News is straight ahead on WIBX.
Stock market traders, the new year is here, and it's time to stop taking chances with your portfolio or retirement funds. Take control of your trading and dominate volatility with the power of artificial intelligence technology from Vantage Point. Text the word demo to 813-813 to learn more. You can discover how to predict stock market trends up to 3 days ahead with incredible accuracy. Whether you trade stocks, options, forex, or futures, Vantage Point's patented AI can give you a massive edge in 2023. Text DEMO to 813-813 and learn what you need to stay ahead of markets and find big moves before they happen. Don't wait. Text DEMO to 813-813. Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance. By texting, you agree to the terms available at VantagePointSoftware.com and consent to receive calls and texts using automated technology about offers or info by or on behalf of Vantage Point. Your consent is not a condition to purchase and can be revoked at any time. Message and data rates may apply. Text DEMO to 813-813.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Two of our adversaries strengthening ties. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what China's top diplomat says. His visit to Russia is all about deepening their relations. He'll meet directly with Russian leader Vladimir Putin amid U.S. concerns China could give Russia weapons to use in Ukraine.
No one can turn away
their eyes from the atrocities Russia is committing against the Ukrainian people. It's abhorrent.
That was President Biden, who has one more big meeting before leaving Poland today with our Eastern European NATO allies.
Today, Biden meeting with the Bucharest Nine in Warsaw to discuss their concerns, including Russia pulling out of the last nuclear arms control treaty with the United States. This treaty limits the number of deployed nuclear warheads to 1,550.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. While in Poland, the president did keep up with what's happening in East Palestine, Ohio.
President Biden was briefed on the EPA's latest efforts to hold Norfolk Southern accountable. The agency will now take over cleanup efforts 3 weeks after that toxic train derailment. The EPA administrator says officials will work with residents to make sure they feel safe.
Fox's Brooke Singman. For the second day in a row, the Supreme Court will consider challenges legal protections social media companies have for their content. Today's case involves Twitter and terror posts. Yesterday, it was YouTube.
The family of Noemi Gonzalez, who was killed in the 2015 Paris terror attacks, argue Google, owner of YouTube, allowed ISIS to post videos that helped recruit and incite violence. Legal experts say changes to Section 230 would fall on Congress.
Congress should take this very seriously.
That's Gonzalez's stepfather, Jose Hernandez, outside the Supreme Court.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. It's a stormy time for millions of Americans. Wintry warnings stretch from California to northern New England. It'll be blizzard conditions from Wyoming to the Dakotas to Minnesota.
An unprecedented 3-day weather event.
St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter, they could get 2 feet of snow. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-1441. That's 800-838-1441.
And now a small business setback, set to smooth jazz.
It's late. You're driving in the rain with only one thing on your mind. The deer about to total your HVAC van. But with Progressive's 30-plus customizable coverage options, you're covered. The rest is just saxophone.
When running your small business gets rough, Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Twinkly sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 29 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by the Oneida County Department of Family and Community Services. Join them for an open house hiring event on Wednesday, March 8th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Clark City Center in downtown Utica. We have a winter weather advisory in effect from 1 this afternoon until 10 tomorrow morning. We'll break it down what you can expect as far as accumulation and precipitation coming up in just a few minutes. And topping our news, National Grid says it has already increased staffing ahead of the snow, sleet, and ice that'll be falling across the area over the next couple of days. Crews are being pre-staged in locations that are expected to be the most affected, so if the power does go out, it can be restored quickly. A local soccer coach recently died after trying to save his family in the ocean. That high school soccer coach from Oneida drowned in the ocean in Melbourne, Florida, while on vacation with family. 48-year-old Dale McCormick died Sunday afternoon. He was trying to rescue his 2 children who were caught up by an ocean undercurrent. McCormick attempted to reach his son and daughter, but he was actually caught by the current and taken underwater. McCormick was later pulled from the water and pronounced dead. His 2 children were able to get out safely. A GoFundMe page has been set up for his family, and you can read more on this story at WIBX950.com. The man who authorities say abandoned his dog in the parking lot of the Herkimer County Humane Society earlier this month made his first court appearance Tuesday. Paul Carlos Palenzuela pleaded not guilty while appearing in Town of German Flats Court. The 57-year-old Frankfort man stands accused of overdriving, torturing, and injuring animals and failure to provide proper sustenance and abandonment of an animal. Meanwhile, an unrelated case in Oswego County, state troopers rescue a severely neglected dog. State police officials say they were called to a home in West Monroe for assistance with the Oswego County Probation Office. While at the home, they found a 6 or 7-year-old chocolate lab in a room filled with feces and urine. And officials say they don't think the dog had been let out for months and also had gone possibly months without food or water. Officers charging Brian Phillips with felony-level aggravated cruelty to animals after the February 10th discovery. Phillips was issued an appearance ticket. The dog was not, however. They did rescue the dog, and the good news is it is expected with proper care that dog Chance will make a full recovery. A Fulton grandmother is facing multiple charges after being accused of pushing her 2 grandchildren into the Oswego River. According to Fulton police, 46-year-old Heather Smith pushed the 5-year-old and 3-year-old into the water Monday so that they could swim, even though neither child knew how to swim. Smith pulled the kids out of the water after they were fully submerged. Neither child was injured. She has already been arraigned on those charges and released. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast again has a winter weather advisory in effect from 1 this afternoon until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. For today, especially this afternoon, snow showers, a high of 33 degrees, expecting around an inch of snow accumulation this afternoon. Then tonight, snow, sleet, then freezing rain and sleet, and freezing rain again through the overnight. That will continue into tomorrow morning as well. An overnight low of 29, new ice accumulation of 0.2 of an inch possible, and new snow and sleet accumulation of 2 inches possible. Thursday, that will eventually change over to rain and freezing rain. Thursday's high will be 37 degrees. We could see another half inch of snow and sleet accumulating tomorrow afternoon as well. Friday, a chance of snow showers, mainly early in the day, with a high of just 22. Right now, cloudy skies, 29 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:07. All right, checking sports, a huge day today for Utica Pioneers hockey. The men and the women both playing. The number 2 seed women play against Lebanon Valley. It is a home game for the women as they will play at the Nexus Center. It is a 3 p.m. start. Then coming up tonight, the top-seeded Utica men will take on Arcadia at the Adirondack Bank Center. The puck drops in that game at 7 o'clock tonight. Also, Colgate against Lafayette on the hardwood tonight. Colgate 21-8 overall. They're 15-1 in conference play. They'll play at 7 p.m. on ESPN+. Syracuse takes on Clemson tonight. That'll be on the ACC network at 7 p.m. The Cleveland Browns have requested to interview members of the Giants coaching staff. I wish they would take our quarterback. Cleveland looking to meet with the G-Men's assistant special teams coordinator Anthony Blevins for their special teams position. Blevins has been with the Giants since 2018 and has spent time with special teams, defensive backs, and linebackers as well. The Jets are confident that a certain veteran quarterback would find success if he were to sign with them. New York hosted free agent quarterback Derek Carr on Monday and told him that he can take this team, and not just to the playoffs, but to the Super Bowl. The team also said they believe if Carr were to come to New York and win, he could be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. The Devils were unable to collect their 3rd straight victory after they fell last night to the Canadiens, a final of 5-2. The Islanders back in action tonight when they play host to the Winnipeg Jets, and the Rangers have dropped back-to-back games heading into tomorrow night's tilt against the Wings in Detroit. What else? Former NFL running back Peyton Hillis sharing a positive update after nearly drowning on a beach in Florida. Hillis said on social media that he's expected to make a full recovery after being admitted to the ICU last month. The 37-year-old had saved 2 kids from drowning off the Pensacola coast. Hillis spent over 2 weeks in the hospital, but was recently released. The Atlanta Hawks are parting ways with their head coach. They fired Nate McMillan on Tuesday after their 29-30 start to the season. What else do we need to? Jim Caldwell, former NFL head coach Jim Caldwell, no longer interested in positions that he once held. The Panthers' senior assistant said that he doesn't plan to pursue another head coaching job after being passed up for the job by the Panthers and Denver Broncos earlier this offseason. And Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, he won't be undergoing elbow surgery as planned this week. The NFL Network says the 49ers quarterback met with a doctor who recommended they postpone that surgery because of ongoing inflammation in his throwing elbow.
A couple of little updates here for you. I stand corrected, and let me just make it clear I am a Methodist, not a Catholic. Okay. So my wife and kids are all Catholic. I'm
what did you say?
I'm not allowed to go up onto the altar. They are.
Okay.
Right.
This is about when you can eat meat.
Yes. So last hour I said that it used to be, which is true, it was a fasting that occurred beginning on Ash Wednesday and all the way through to Good Friday. But Julie says today and Friday are fast days for Catholics. That means one main meal, 2 smaller meals, and no eating between meals. Didn't know that. I did not know that. So, Julie, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
At some point, we'll have Father Sean. This is a busy season for him. He was going to be in the other day, and he couldn't make it, but we'll get him in and get a full update on Catholicism, Lent, and the great Central New York fish fry season. Ann is in Rome. Good morning, Ann. Good morning.
Good morning. I want to tell you a quick dog story.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to make it as fast as I can. A year ago, October, they thought I had a stroke. I was rushed to the hospital on a Saturday morning. My dog had his food, treats, everything. I called the house. My friend Cindy, God bless her, stayed with him all day, walked him, etc. He heard my voice, couldn't figure out where I was. Long story short, I got home late Sunday night. He was happy, jumping around. Finally, he went over to his dish and he ate. She called me up to tell me from Saturday till Sunday, he walked, he was fine. He wouldn't play. He took a couple sips of water, sat near the door on his couch, and stared at the door for me to come home.
Wow.
He missed
so
you,
if you
Ann.
think that this guy in Herkimer wants to run into me, I'll snap him like a twig.
You would. I mean, start with the legs, probably.
I wouldn't mess
I
with
want
you,
him. I want all dog lovers to come to my house. We'll put this guy outside in the bad weather, and we'll all stay inside, eat and drink, and watch him suffer. Let the punishment fit the crime. This is disgusting.
It is.
I love my dog just as much as people. Sometimes I love him more than other people.
Right. I just wonder, are we going a little bit over the top, or no? You don't think so?
No.
No.
Look what my dog did. Do you think there's anybody that would have sat and not eat and waited near the door for me to come home?
Right.
I'm telling you, my dog, if people treated their kids and other people like I treat my dog, we'd have a wonderful world.
I guess you're right.
That's the truth there. And by the way, she's not alone. Somebody, Dana just chimed in. Amen. I'm with her.
Yeah, I just wish that people would come out in droves with signs and protesting and all that when a child is abused or
I don't
an
think
elderly
anybody
person
should be abused.
I understand
No one.
that. I just think that we maybe it's that the dog can't help itself, but the reality is a lot of times a child.
Well, a child can't help themselves either.
Right.
There's probably as many people that shouldn't have kids that shouldn't have dogs.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So I'm going to go to church and pray for all the things I'm thinking about this guy.
So are you in a world where you're going to follow the Catholic rules? You're going to eat 2 light meals and you're going to follow through on that. No meat, of course.
No meat on Friday. My mother's 94 years old, and if I told her I had a hamburger on Friday, over.
Yeah, you'd be in big trouble. Yeah.
Two things before we
Gotta
let
love
Ann go.
Italian mothers.
Ann, before we let you go, hang on one sec. So I just want to tell you that I fall on the side of this debate, and I've said it before, and I know people are going to send hate mail, but I'm in the camp of a dog is an animal, not a person, right? But that's okay. I love my dog all the same, and I treat her amazingly. But here's what I'm going to say. When I read this story, the latest one that we talked about this morning, I was at my kitchen table, and I was like physically angry. Okay? It had a response. I got a response. Like a physical, like, my blood was boiling. I'm like, how can you treat someone or something, whatever you characterize it as, like that? It's outrageous. And I hear what you're saying.
If you go on YouTube and see rescues, it would break your heart.
See, I can't because I've said this before about, we see these cases where the 5 cops beat the guy to death. I can't watch that because I'll start throwing things in my kitchen. I get so mad about that.
I think that the other part of this is, and there's no excuse, period. But in this case, I don't know anything about this person. I think you gotta kind of wait out there to find out. There are some people that should not have a dog because they're not capable, right?
Of the responsibility.
Maybe not capable.
I actually got a dog that was from a puppy farm that was purchased at one of the malls here. And the vet told me the dog should have been dead 2 weeks ago. I don't know what you did, but you did a great job. And he
Wow.
lived for 17 years.
Wow.
And there are some dogs that end up being taken away from their mother too early. You see that, which is a big problem, and that happens a lot in these puppy mill type situations. So, but I think there are some people that may not have the mental capacity to take care of themselves, let alone have a pet.
When I had the dog from the puppy farm and I had cancer, my mother would have to pick him up off the bed to bring him outside. He'd run right back in and lay next to me. 7 months he did that.
Wow.
That's a beautiful thing, Ann. The other thing is on a lighthearted note, this is a much more lighthearted note, and I say this in jest because people will get offended about anything, right? But was there like some big Catholic roundtable negotiation where it went from like, look, we can't keep asking these people to not eat meat for 40 days. We got to move it to only Fridays. Like, I just wonder how the tradition changes over time.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's like a negotiation.
There is.
Like a Democrat-Republican thing.
It's when they go through the collections, and they're like, man, we are way down. We got to do something to change things up.
Yeah, it's the Catholicism Congress is what it is. And
I do think that comes from a lot of that stuff, and comes from the Pope, from the diocese, where the rules maybe are changed just a little bit or
but they
altered.
do tell you if you are not able to fast because of if you're diabetic or you have some illness, then then eat what you need to eat. We don't want you to get sick because of
sure. Unlike my wife, who's like, stop eating. For God's sakes, what are you doing?
I was going to give up being cute for Lent, Bill, but it wouldn't work.
Well, I can't imagine. There's no way. I mean, just walking in the room, man, there's nothing you can do.
We wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
Hey, have a good day, guys.
By the way, one quickie. Did you enjoy your time sitting front row?
Front row.
That show was phenomenal.
Jimmy Fallon.
The food, I had food to eat, drinks. The wait staff was unbelievable. The food was excellent. And I come from a family that owned an Italian restaurant. And the food was outstanding. He was hysterical. And anybody who wants to go to Fat Cats, whether it's Jimmy or anyone else, you can't beat the price of the food, the drinks. The wait staff didn't bother you when they were talking to someone else. You couldn't even hear them. And the comedy was excellent. I loved all the comedians.
Well, that's the design. And I have to say, I do want to say that all of the wait staff and the bartenders and everybody over there, and the people that were cooking in the back, this weekend, they were slammed. We were, this is the largest crowd I've ever seen over there at Fat Cats Comedy Club. And I just think the wait staff, everybody did an incredible job. Ben on audio. I mean, Davey making the announcements. Davey.
I got to meet Davey. I was thrilled.
Thank you very much.
Biggest fan.
So all I can say is it was a weekend where everybody performed at top level. So
And everybody that I talked to before the show that had gone to the earlier show, and even walking out, people were. Usually you're going to find somebody's going to complain about something. Nothing. Everybody truly enjoyed themselves. It was really nice.
And wasn't it
nice to hear it, too.
Wasn't it awesome? Can you believe how tall Jimmy Fallon's kid is?
And he's 14.
14 years old. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, coming up, here's what we're going to do. Bob Schofield is in, and I'm going to ask a couple of questions that are actually going to go back to the days of the No Hospital Downtown. Remember that thing? That was an organization, Jeff, where there was a group of people that didn't want the hospital to go.
Bill. Oh, I was alive for that.
Okay, I didn't know if you were around here for that. But you all know, right? You all know. So there's some things that came up back then and some things that have happened now that make me kind of wonder and ask. And I want to ask the questions. So we'll get to that. But the big thing is Bob Schofield, and then we'll bring on Dr. Hall closer to about 7:45. So here's what we did yesterday. We took a walk through MVHS, through the construction site, which they are 8 months and a couple of weeks away from opening. Think about that. Is it October or November?
Yeah, I think it's October.
October. Anyway, they're just months away, weeks away from opening the hospital. So we walked through to see all of these amazing construction people and what they were doing and what they've already accomplished, what it's going to be like, and why. Nancy Ford, a photographer, who is an amazing photographer, took the photos, and they're just landed on our website at WIBX950.com. You can check it all out right there. And we will then, Bob is going to, this is almost like something you do at school and you get a handout. So I want everybody to follow along with your handout. Obviously, you can't if you're driving. See what I mean?
I thought you got free lunch yesterday.
It's
or
not
something.
you go to your iPad or your computer or whatever. You can look on your computer, and we're going to go through photos 1 through, I think there are 28 photos. And Bob will then explain what each photo is. So you can follow through that way. The other thing you could do is if you log on to our YouTube channel, just search Keeler live stream on YouTube. And you'll see us up there live. We're going to put this in on camera, so as Bob goes through it, you'll see each photo, and he'll be explaining what each photo is. Fair enough? So that's what we're going to do coming up next.
I love it. I'm going through the pictures right now.
It's a real interactive type thing.
She does a great job with these. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Now I can see why my wife says stop eating. Yeah. Okay, so we'll break and come back with Bob Schofield from MVHS coming right up at WIBX.
Hi, I'm Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacenti. Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opiates after a surgery 2 years ago, a broken bone last year, and a dental procedure last month. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. Holding on to unused medication like opiates puts your family at risk. Remove the risk by getting 2 free medication disposal bags mailed directly to your home. Hurry and don't delay. There's a limited supply.
Go to ocopioidtaskforce.org.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. But just because a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system doesn't mean cancer surgery has to be. Now, there's Edge Radio Surgery. It breaks down tumors in less than an hour per treatment. No knife, no hospital stay. Faster treatments, lower risk. Edge Radio Surgery, now at AMP of New York. Learn more at ampofny.com/edge. You may experience side effects which may be severe. Ask your doctor of Edge Radio Surgery. Associated Medical Professionals of New York is correct for you.
How far will the left go to win 2024? Will they send out more stimulus checks, pass more student loan bailouts, or give away trillions more to left-wing groups? The simple truth is they don't care if your retirement is eroded down to a fraction of its value. They just want to win. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I want to encourage you to diversify your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into a physical gold IRA. And the only company I recommend for gold IRAs is conservative-owned Birch Gold Group. To learn more, text the word SAFEGUARD to 989898 to get their free info kit on gold IRAs. Do this now before Democrats have a chance to legislate away your life savings. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting HEDGE to the number 989898. There's nothing to buy and no obligation at all. So use your agency. Take action now. Text the word HEDGE to the number 989898.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA contractors, we are pleased to partner with Alfred State University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Alfred State is proud to strengthen our long history of working with unions to create non-traditional pathways for career advances in the skilled trades.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
EasyCater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
Backup singers. So right before this important meeting, I get a text from EasyCater that the restaurant lost power. No electricity. And I'm like, are you kidding me? She said sarcastically. But EasyCater was like, don't worry. No sweat. They got another restaurant to fill the whole order. The whole order. And I was like, are you kidding me? But in a good way. Inflection is everything.
Problem with your order? EasyCater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants.
EasyCater.
Order 24/7 on EasyCater.com.
They got your back.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hear ye, hear ye. Thanks for coming to the town square. First, I'd like to tell you about Steve. He's a plumber. I hear he does good work. Also, Tim. He's this new thing called a dentist. Oh, and Monica, she has a new vegan restaurant. I didn't even know that was a thing yet. Anyway, if you need those things, just wander around town and try to find them because the internet hasn't been invented yet, so I don't know.
This isn't the olden days. Now, word of mouth has gone online. At Town Square Utica, we can show you how to harness the power of your existing word of mouth and amplify it online. Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free local customer analysis, where you can see how many local customers in Utica you could be reaching online. Visit townsquarelocal.com and be the Town Square today. That's townsquarelocal.com.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, Steve Ponte Mazda and Ricky Z on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. They focus on creating the ultimate customer experience. This is by design, and it's really in Rick's MO. He's always about pleasing people, whether he's sitting at the keyboard playing an amazing Billy Joel song or Elton John or what have you, or he's helping somebody get into the perfect vehicle like he did with me a few years back with my CX-9. An incredible driving experience is the new Mazda. They only select the best late-model Mazdas for their Mazda-certified pre-owned vehicles as well. And they offer them at a 160-point inspection and the balance of the 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And if you need a lower price or payment, just say, Rick, I need a lower price or payment. And he'll say, let's make your deal on a Mazda-certified pre-owned vehicle. It's the Steve Ponte way. It really is. See why their customers always say it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Mazda on Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Yesterday morning, we had the awesome opportunity to go through the new downtown hospital, the Wynn Hospital. Jeff, it was what I would call an awesome, great experience.
It was. It was great to see it from the inside. Certainly have seen it quite a bit from the outside. And
this is our third time through. Maybe your second.
I think only my first.
Okay.
It's only my first.
So it's my third, and it's amazing to see the progress. Bob Schofield is in with us right now. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. So it is incredible to see the transformation.
Well, a lot has transpired since the last time you were there.
Right.
Andrew came previously, but
Right.
we are, like as you said, just a little over 8 months away moving in.
Before we get, so if you go to your computer or you can check out our YouTube channel, just search Keeler live stream, and you'll be able to see the photos. We'll have them up here on the feed coming up in a second. If you want, you can go to our website. Maybe you have an iPad or a computer. Put it up on your big screen TV, and you can just scroll through photo by photo as Bob explains what everything is. We're going to get to that coming up in a second. I did want to bring up a couple of things. Number one, I saw this out in Palestine, Ohio.
Sure, yeah.
What occurred with the train crash. And then they did a controlled burn, which I don't know. Did it make it worse? It certainly put all those lethal chemicals in the air. But one of the things that No Downtown Hospital Group always said was, you can't put the hospital there because if there's a train wreck, the train tracks are too close to the hospital.
It was in the red zone.
You're within the red zone. And I had never heard anything about that before. And we kind of all discounted that. And then this happened. And I'm like, I wonder, have you guys considered the possibility of disaster? How would you answer that, Bob?
Well, hospitals are uniquely prepared to handle all kinds of disasters. We do that for a variety of reasons. First, we may need to ensure that the people within the building, our patients, our employees, are safe in the event that something occurs. But more importantly, we're there and prepared to accept people who are affected by a disaster, whether it's a blizzard, a train accident, a plane crash, a fire, whatever that might be. We have numerous protocols in place that would allow us to assist with any type of event like that, whether it's across the street from the facility or across the county.
So you believe that there is no. What about? I think I recall saying, "Well, the building doesn't have the air filtration to be able to handle. If there was a poison in the air, you wouldn't be able to handle that." Is that true?
Well, if we were to have an incident like that or any other incident, one of the things that the hospital does first, it goes into incident command. So you get all the necessary people in the same room to address whatever the problem that's existing. Included in that group would be our engineering department. And those folks would handle the air handling systems within the building to make sure that we're able to filter the air that's coming in, to provide safe air within the building for our patients and our staff. So we are very prepared for any type of circumstance that could occur.
And if I'm not mistaken, when this issue was raised many years ago, that was what you and other hospital officials had said. Part of it was the air filtration system, right? That you can't just open a window and breathe in whatever's going outside. There's filtration, right? You got temperature control, filtration control, air quality control is what I'm trying to say. But that is part of this new hospital. Is you can't just pop open a window and breathe in whatever's going outside. Is that right?
Well, you noticed that when you were walking through yesterday, there were no windows that opened up.
Right.
And that's a code in this day and age. So we're not getting outside air coming directly into the building. And even our entrances have vestibules, so there's a 2-layer entrance in order to get into the building. So all the air that comes into the building comes in through a very elaborate system of air handling systems that filter and control not only the temperature but the humidity as it comes in and leaves the building.
When we were in the looking out the windows, I love the views that people will have ultimately when you're in the hospital. The maternity ward is that what it's called today?
Well, we can call it the maternity unit or OB, yep.
Was really those rooms. I could not believe how large those rooms are.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that was one of the things that we paid a lot of attention to, was the space that the patients and their families would have. So on the maternity unit itself, we were in one of the labor rooms, very large space, ensures a comfortable environment for the laboring mom as well as their partner, and have plenty of space to enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
But I also want to mention, as we were there, there's so many people that believe that we're not going to continue delivering babies here in Utica after the Wynn Hospital opens. Absolutely untrue, as you saw yesterday.
The other thing that I find interesting is when you look out the window to the south, you see the new medical office building going up. And for those that kind of wonder, well, what's this thing about? Because there's that property that the mayor's gotten involved with, and it was going to be your property, and then there's a parking lot after that. You can clearly see where that building is right in the way of the parking that was going to happen at that medical. I mean, from looking a bird's eye view, it's extremely clear why this is a problem.
Well, you're correct. There is a building that currently exists in the middle of what will be a parking lot for the medical office building, but we're working closely with the Oneida County IDA to resolve that issue. But yes, we have a medical office building right across the street, 90,000 square foot building, partnership with the local group of physicians from Central New York Cardiology, and we expect that building to be open and operating after the first of the year, and we'll accommodate parking.
The other, before we get into the photos, which is coming up next, the enormous parking garage, as that is going up, and how much progress has been made on it already?
So the parking garage, as most probably recall, is about 1,350 spaces. It's on the north side of the building. It will accommodate for our employees, our visitors, and others coming to the Wynn Hospital. It is the first 2 floors have been erected, and they're moving right along. They're doing a great job.
Okay. All right. So let's start with let's go through these photos if we could. Sure. Obviously, let me make sure I've got everything right here. There we go. Let's start with this first photo. Obviously, just describe each one as we go through, and you get to scroll. So
I get to scroll.
Keep it
putting them to work here this
Great.
morning.
Yeah.
So this view here is from Columbia Street. So Columbia Street reopened as a city street for through traffic, probably the end of spring, early summer. So we're looking west towards the Wynn Hospital. You can see the bridge that goes across Columbia Street. That's what will house the utilities from the utility plant on the south side of the building.
It is hard to believe that's Columbia Street.
It looks like a dirt road right now.
It does.
That's what Columbia Street looked like probably 200 years ago, but it will look brand new here shortly.
All right. So you'll scroll down, and obviously this is the front of the hospital.
Right, and you mentioned Nancy does take great photographs, but this is a view of the front of the Wynn Hospital. The little green area you see there is the front entry, and this is a great shot of all 9 floors.
Okay. This is all up on our website at WIBX950.com. Is that a picture of the outdoor shot of what is that?
Well, this is a picture from on the 4th floor looking east, and this is the loading dock area.
Okay.
And you can see the Utica National Building right there in the distance where we currently are leasing that space.
Okay. All right. Let's keep it going.
So again, a view looking west. This is the west end of the Wynn. You can see the first 2 floors, which are a big rectangular podium that will house a number of support services, surgeries, ERs, and whatnot, and then the bed tower that rises up.
Is that side the entrance to the ER? So that would be
no,
the entrance is to the west.
The entrance is on the other end of the building.
Okay, all right.
Actually, I don't think we went there to get a picture.
I don't think we did. Yeah. All right.
This is, again, from the 4th floor looking out over the roof, a great picture of the glasscape along the side of the facility.
Talk about the views that the patient will have. This is something that you guys really considered.
So there was a couple of things that were really important for us, that every patient was able to look out and not look into another patient room. So we have examples in our current facilities in many hospitals that you can look out your window and you may see a brick wall, or you may see the patient room across the corridor or across the courtyard. Here, every view outside the window gives you outside view. Now, there are some floors, the 3rd floor particularly, where some of the views are obstructed based on air handling units, but we did that on purpose. The 3rd floor is the intensive care unit. And we recognize that many of those patients are there for a short period of time, probably are not up looking out the windows.
Right.
And then once they are able to progress, they'll go to a floor and a higher floor and be able to have better views.
All right. As we scroll down, we're now inside. Where are we here?
So we are looking in a LDR, or labor, delivery, and recovery room on the maternity
The
unit.
picture doesn't show how large that room is.
It's a very large space.
Yeah.
And at the back wall, you see that blue wall back there. That's where the baby will go after they're born, and that's where the neonatologist will examine them, make sure everything's okay, and the head of the bed for the moms on the other end.
Okay. There's another outdoor shot.
This is a picture of the parking garage.
Yeah.
So as you can see, they have a crane on both ends. They're raising steel, pouring concrete for the second floor deck, and they are making, like I said earlier, great progress.
Yep. All right.
Again, this is another view of the LDR, labor room. So where the three of us are standing here against the wall, that is where the mom's head would be during delivery, and then the baby would be at the other end of the room.
All right.
The missing ceiling tiles on the top are waiting for the exam lights.
And the concept is that you do everything everything's taken in that room. So normally, would the baby have been taken out of the room to be checked, or?
Currently, some of our rooms are small, so therefore, from a space perspective, we have to go elsewhere. But here, the nursery staff and the neonatologist can stay right there in the
all
room.
in the same room.
And then once the baby is checked over and is fine, and mom is fine, then the mom and baby have time together.
All right. Another outdoor shot.
View of the parking garage again.
And you can see the concrete already going up on some of the floors there.
Yep. Concrete's right over here.
Okay.
Right. So this is looking out the end of the building facing west again. This is the ER entranceway. So Columbia Street is to the left of the picture. So if you were driving into the Wynn Hospital with a loved one that you were bringing to the emergency room, you'd come into this circular loop here, drop them off, and then drive directly into the parking garage.
All right.
The other side of that picture is where the ambulance enters.
All right. And, of course, this is Bob Schofield, who is the Executive Vice President of Facilities and Real Estate with MVHS, and he's going through the photo gallery that's up on our website right now. So as long as you're not driving, pop open your phone or your laptop or pull it up on YouTube, and you can follow along with us.
Here's one of the restrooms in one of the rooms.
Right. So this is a patient bathroom. We get excited about patient bathrooms because when in 1916, when they built St. Elizabeth, patient bathrooms were not a priority. Now we have every patient room has a bathroom in it. And you can see this is a very large room. It will have a shower, and it also has a shower head for those patients that we may need to give special attention to that can't bathe themselves.
All right.
This is a patient room. So all the patient rooms in the facility are the same size. We happen, in this example here, be in the intensive care unit, but they're all much larger than the rooms that we currently have. To the left is the head of the bed, and to the right side is the foot, where the television will be located.
Okay.
And then where I'm standing there right behind me is the restroom.
All right.
Because you just mentioned television, if I can pop in with a question, you talked about the patient being able to see you gave an example, you're due to go to for this exam at noon today, or you're set to take this medication today, but the patient can be much more involved and kind of see real time on a screen what the day is going to break down to be, which is a change from, obviously the technology's an incredible upgrade from the current facilities.
So the electronic health record that we use, Epic, has an ability to put together a patient schedule. And so we're working on that as we speak. So when we go live, we will be able to schedule patients for a variety of things, their physical therapy visit, their CAT scan, whatever that might be, and we can project that on their television. So not only will the patient, but sometimes more importantly, family members will know the schedule for the patient that day, because often, you show up to visit your loved one and they're not there. They're in a CAT scan or whatnot. This way we can have a little better control over that patient's day.
Let's go back to some of the photos here. What do we have?
Again, another view of the ER entrance. Again,
ER.
That's the circular loop for the those that are driving in. We're looking out a window at the west end of the building. But what's nice, in addition to the patient rooms, the ends of the corridors all have windows as well. So a lot of bright natural light. 'Cause we know that natural light enhances the well-being of not only our patients, but the family members and our employees that sometimes spend 12, 16 hours a day inside the facility. This is a picture of the Pulse Anesthesia Care Unit, or PACU. This is where patients go directly after an anesthesia surgical procedure, and these will be curtained bays. There are 22 of them. This is about a third of the space on the second floor.
Can I also talk about the fact that the hallways are so wide? If you've gone through any surgery at St. E's especially, you're trying to maneuver, and even at St. Luke's, I think, you're banging into the walls because the hallways were always very narrow, certainly compared to this.
Right. So we've ensured that the corridors, especially those that are used for the movement of supplies and or patients, are wide enough that we're not running into the walls and damaging things.
All right. And we have just a few more photos here. Another picture of the...
same PACU, just the other side.
Yep.
This is an operating room. So this will be a state-of-the-art operating room. You can see we have a laminar flow mechanism in the ceiling that provides the air within the room. It sucks the air out of the room, if you will, to keep it clean air at all times. The operating rooms are essentially ready to go, waiting for the equipment vendors to come in and install lights, equipment booms, so forth. And we expect that to be completed.
How much larger are these operating rooms than the what we're currently using at St. E's and at St. Luke's?
So largest operating room in the system right now is 600 square feet, and there's one of them. The rest of them range between 450 and 550. This room that we're looking at is 660 square feet. But in addition to this room, there are 4 other rooms that are 760 square feet.
Okay.
Just to have more than enough space for the staff and the equipment in the room.
And I'm assuming for the robotic machine as well. That.
Yep, we have a couple of rooms that are outfitted for robotic surgery, especially for the special power needs.
Yep.
We're here in the emergency department. As you guys notice as we're walking through, the ER, other than furniture and computers and whatnot, is essentially completed. So you can see their individual rooms with sliding glass doors. The structure we're standing in front of there is the team station, or the place where the computers, phones, and whatnot, where the staff work during the day. Nancy was getting creative with her picture, but she was inside what's called a flow coordinator's office, taking a picture of us through the emergency room.
And the ER is huge compared to what we currently are dealing with.
ER is significantly bigger. As people walk through it, they comment on it. But the bigger means that corridors are wider, the rooms are wider, the support space is greater, which just add that all together makes it a much larger space.
How many people as compared to what you can hold now?
Well, we can see 95,000 people a year in the new design, where currently our space can accommodate about 75,000.
Okay, well, all right.
Again, another view from the other direction of that operating room and the light system in the room.
Shows you how large that operating room is.
It is a big space.
Yep. Looking at photos of MVHS, they're up on our website, WIBX950.com. This is still in the ER?
Yep. We're again looking at the rooms in the ER.
All right.
And this is looking at them again from another direction. As you can see, the floors are in. The only thing left are the IT systems that have to be put into the ceiling. Another view here from the ER.
And there are several of those. I don't want to say several. There's more than one of those as you're walking through, right?
Right. So the emergency room consists of 7 pods, as we call them.
Okay.
And each pod has a different purpose, if you will. So it divides it up space that makes it more efficient for staff function.
Yep. Okay.
Again, emergency room again.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of this whole thing. More emergency room there, I believe.
Well, we started there, so we had the greatest opportunity to get pictures.
I just want to say, as you're scrolling to the next one, as you look at these, and if
I think at this point we're ending, we're making our way out, but just great photos. Check them out on our website at WIBX950.com if you have not seen them. And yes, Jeff.
And one of the things that stuck with me the most, and if you check out the photos on our website, you'll see this as well. It's much more open, but it's kind of uniform spaces. So I wrote down here like continuity. All the rooms are replicas, right? So if you're going in, plugging in, the things you're plugging into the wall, they're all laid out the same.
Right. So the rooms are referred to as same-handed.
Same-handed.
So therefore, you walk into a room in the emergency room on pod 1 or pod 5, Everything is in the same place in all those rooms. So that decreases the amount of time staff have to take to find things or think about where things are located. So therefore, it just becomes natural for them to walk in a room and connect something on the wall. And the same thing exists in all the patient rooms upstairs. They're all same-handed. So the clock, the television, the bathroom, the outlets in the wall are in the same place in every single room.
Something else I noticed is when I say it's more open, it's also geared more to privacy. You talked about this one particular, it's like an L shelf, right? And it was something that came about from employees in the hospital now, but it allows you to get things in and out of a room without having to pull back a curtain, and really it allows for more privacy for the patient.
Right. So in the emergency department, we see about 250 patients a day. So one of the suggestions from the staff that participated was to put a little alcove at the edge of the room that can open up from the corridor to have supplies stocked, but also open up from within the room to take things out. So that's most commonly used things like linen or personal protective equipment, but also in the event that we were taking care of a patient and I needed something, but I wanted to maintain the privacy of the patient there without everyone walking in, opening the door, they could bring it in through that little alcove.
All right. Great tour. We appreciate it. I think this is going to be...
Yes, thank you.
I thought this was interesting. The amount of time we have left before this opens, actually, the employees from maternity actually reminded you of something.
Well, they said we're about the same gestational period as a person, so we're just a little under 9 months away from moving in. So we don't want a premature delivery here.
Yes,
we want to get it till October.
All right.
But let's just hope she doesn't run late either.
All right. Well, listen, very excited about all of this, and we appreciate the tour tremendously.
Thank you for coming,
Bob Schofield. Let's go to Dr. Kent Hall, who's on the line right now. Doc, good morning. Thanks for calling in. I'm sure you've done the same thing and toured, and before you know it, you guys will be operating out of there, literally.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that, and I'm actually going to have another tour a week from tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to see how things have changed from the last time I went through, which was about 2-3 months ago.
Okay, well, from the last time we were there, a lot certainly has changed. All right, Doc, stand by for 1 second. We're going to come right back to you. We have some people with some questions on what's going on in the world out there. A lot of things, a lot of sicknesses. People getting sick and they go get their COVID test and it's not COVID and it's not the flu, but it does seem to be serious. And we'll talk about that coming up with some other questions as well. So stand by. We'll come right back with you. It's 7:51 at WIBX.
Let's face it. Credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout. Here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
EasyCater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
So right before this important meeting, I get a text from EasyCater that the restaurant lost power.
No electricity.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? But EasyCater was like, don't worry.
No sweat.
They got another restaurant to fill the whole order.
The whole order.
And I was like, are you kidding me? But in a good way.
Inflection is everything.
Problem with your order? EasyCater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants.
EasyCater.
Order 24/7 on EasyCater.com.
They got your back.
All right, I'm going to just come back. 7:53 WIBX. Any questions for Dr. Hall? 315-736-0186. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. What a tour that was to be able to see what has gone on, and this is my third time in and watching all the progression. One of the things is it was kind of chilly yesterday at times. Love the fact that there was heat inside.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice. At least for us. Okay, Doc, Manansky with a question.
Yeah, so I want to ask, I keep hearing, and it's been talked about that, right, Biden set a date for the end of the pandemic. Am I using the terminology correctly, first off? And second, what does that mean to people? I think I've heard, my point is I've heard it from a lot of people who say, well, look, we've been over this for a while, and it's just kind of dragged on. But there's insurance issues. It's when you get sick, you can't just go get a free COVID test everywhere, I would imagine. There's a change in how it's going to be handled going forward.
Yeah, so good point. So I think there are two things. One is, what is the definition of a pandemic itself, which is actually a scientific definition, and it relates to how much a disease is spreading and how much of it is how much of the world population is affected by it. And then there is basically the response to it, the governmental response, the organizational response, and what the president is talking about is really, how impactful is the spread of this disease now, and how much do we need to keep the extraordinary measures in place in order to support the people first, but also the organizations, whether it's the healthcare system or whatever. And so given the trend of illness, which is how sick people are getting with COVID, and we know that many people are getting infected, but the severity of the disease is waning. It is less than it was before for the majority of the population. That's not necessarily true for any one individual, but it is true for the majority of the population. And so the need for the government to continue to keep these measures in place in order to support the healthcare system and things like that is less. And so the decision has been made. You can argue whether it's the right decision or not, but the decision has been made that as of I think it's in April, that they will be rolling back those extraordinary measures, and that does mean that things that have been available to the population basically quote unquote for free, in that the government has been paying for them, such as testing and vaccinations and things like that, are now going to become much more normalized, which means that health insurance will be paying what they pay, and out of pocket will pick up some, et cetera. So that's
Gotcha.
that's kind of what is the transition away from where we have been.
Yeah. What about some of these sicknesses that people are getting that are not COVID that tend to be pretty severe and just seem to hang on, and people can't shed it?
Yeah, so, obviously for the last 3 years we've been focusing a lot on COVID and that, which is the right thing to do because it was a new disease, and it caused very, very significant disease, especially early on. What I would say is that other viruses that we have lived with for a long time didn't go away. We did protect ourselves from them. They tend to be respiratory viruses, which means that they transmit themselves the same way. It's through, coughing, close contact, things like that. And so the measures that were put in place for COVID also protected us from those. Now that those are being relaxed, you go out to the grocery store or to the mall or wherever, and you're not seeing people with masks by and large, then these viruses are saying, oh, it's time for me to find a host that I can reproduce in, and there are a number of them. So there's we've talked in the recent past about respiratory syncytial virus or RSV. We talk about flu on a regular basis, but there are probably, I would say, probably 10 to 12 major ones that we think about that have very interesting names, like metapneumovirus and parainfluenza virus and things like that are now causing diseases causing more significant illness. So that's where that's coming from. So you'll be tested for COVID, you'll be tested for the flu. There are some tests that can actually do a whole panel. They can test for like 12 or 15 different viruses. The reality is that if you test positive for one of them, there's no treatment for it. So basically, it's what you would do for anything else. It's rest and, ibuprofen or acetaminophen for body aches and fever control, and, making sure that you're staying well hydrated and things like that.
Last quick question. I have under a minute. We were at Annie last night, my wife and I, at the Stanley. Broadway, Utica. Great show. It was really, really good. They go again tonight. I saw a lot of people with masks. Maybe they have a condition of some sort, but there's a lot of stories out right now saying the masks during COVID it was not effective, and I think that has a lot to do with cloth masks, the fact that the masks weren't tight.
How you wear the mask.
Right. We were told wear masks. You have to wear a mask, but now we're being told it wasn't helpful. How do you put some rationale behind all of that?
Yeah, so the reality is that it does depend on the type of mask. It does depend on how well it's worn. But the reality is that if you wear a mask appropriately, if you wear a good mask and you wear it appropriately, that it definitely does protect you from both from transmitting as well as from receiving the most respiratory viruses.
Doc, we'll do it again next week. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Please be safe.
Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS. Coming up right after this, we'll do our free money question from Jamaica, which we didn't get to. So, Davey, it's coming up. News right now, WIBX Utica, Rome.
They're going to be dealing with.
It'll be a blizzard in many areas, from Wyoming to the Dakotas to Wisconsin, dumping up to 2 feet of snow.
Our top priority is keeping our roads clear to prevent accidents and allow our first responders to safely navigate arterial streets.
St. Paul, Minnesota Mayor Melvin Carter, more than 800 flights are canceled. China's top diplomat is in Russia to meet with Vladimir Putin. The foreign minister says they're strengthening their relations as the U.S. worries China could send Russia weapons for Ukraine. President Biden has one more big meeting this morning while in Poland. During his trip to show U.S. support for Ukraine, he'll gather with Eastern European NATO allies.
The leaders President Joe Biden is meeting represent countries either allied to Moscow during the Cold War or part of the USSR itself. History and geography mean the so-called Bucharest 9 nations feel particularly exposed. The White House says President Biden will reaffirm U.S. support for all NATO members.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. While in Poland, the president's made calls and been briefed on East Palestine, Ohio. The EPA is now supervising the cleanup of the toxic train derailment that made some residents feel sick, vowing to make the railroad pay. Fox's Jackie Heinrich reports from the White House Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is planning to visit East Palestine.
Well, that comes after Florida's Republican Senate delegation, including Rick Scott and Marco Rubio, have both called for Buttigieg to resign or be fired over his absence. Buttigieg fired back, saying Rubio had previously pushed for railroad deregulation.
That led to a nasty back and forth on Twitter, each claiming the other one's lying. Israeli troops are raiding a Palestinian city in the West Bank, battling militants. Reuters reports at least 9 people dead, nearly 100 wounded. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-1441. That's 800-838-1441.
And now a small business setback, delivered by a kind French stranger.
Monsieur, there was an accident. The windshield of your catering van is, how do you say, kaput? But Progressive has an extensive network of repair shops. Now, we sing about the old days. Brave marin revient de guerre.
When things go wrong with your small business, it's comforting to know you have Progressive Commercial. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Croissance for everyone. Bravo.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
All right, we have mostly cloudy skies, 27 degrees. WIBX News time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's President's Day Sale. Incredible savings not to be missed. Free same-day delivery only at My Carl's Furniture in the New Hartford Shopping Center and now open in Destiny, USA. Well, we do have a winter weather advisory kicking in this afternoon and continuing through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. A closer look at your forecast is coming up, but officials with National Grid say they have already increased staff in certain areas of the state with snow, sleet, and ice expected to be falling over the next couple of days. Crews will be pre-staging in locations that are expected to be most affected. Again, more on your forecast coming up in just a few minutes. An awful story out of a family vacation down in Florida. The man who, a local coach of a local soccer team recently passed away trying to save his family in the ocean. That high school soccer coach is 48-year-old Dale McCormick from Oneida. He died Sunday afternoon as he was trying to rescue his children, as they were caught by an ocean undercurrent. McCormick attempted to reach his son and daughter, but he was actually caught by the current and taken underwater. McCormick was later pulled from the water. He was later pronounced dead. His children were able to get out of the water safely. There is a GoFundMe set up for the family. You can find that on our website at WIBX950.com. The man who authorities say abandoned his dog in the parking lot of the Herkimer County Humane Society made his first court appearance on Tuesday. Paul Carlos Palenzuela pleaded not guilty while appearing in the town of German Flats court. The 57-year-old Frankfurt man stands accused of overdriving, torturing, and injuring animals and failure to provide proper sustenance and abandonment of an animal. He pleaded not guilty, and a future court date has been set. Meanwhile, in an unrelated case that occurred also in central New York State Police say they rescued a severely neglected dog from a home in Oswego County. It happened in the town of West Monroe. While at the home, police found a 6 or 7-year-old chocolate lab in a room filled with feces and urine. They believe the dog had not been let out in months, and the dog was severely emaciated, likely not receiving food or water during that time as well. Officers charging Brian Phillips with felony-level aggravated cruelty to animals. Now, the good news is that dog, named Chance, is expected to make a full recovery with proper care. You can find photos of that dog on our website at WIBX950.com. 2-year Weather Center forecast. Again, we have a winter weather advisory that will be in place from 1 this afternoon until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Today, snow showers mainly after 4 p.m. Today's high 33 degrees. Some snow and sleet before 11 p.m. tonight. Then freezing rain and sleet through the overnight. A low of 28 degrees. We could see an accumulation of some ice and a couple of inches of snow or sleet building up as well. Tomorrow morning, rain showers and freezing rain mixing. We could see some more sleet as well. Tomorrow's high 37 degrees. And then another cool off on Friday. Snow showers likely mainly before 8 a.m. with a high Friday of just 22 degrees. Right now, mostly cloudy and 29. WIBX News Time is 8:06.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now.
Boy, I tell you where did the sports bed go?
You know, I'll tell you, let's just move on without it. Oh, there we go. There we go. I was just about to stall with a story from years ago. It was one of my favorites.
The Pioneers! They're in action today.
Tonight.
Huge. The number 2 seeded women will play Lebanon Valley. That's a home game at the Nexus Center, a 3 p.m. start in the UCHC Conference Tournament. Again, the Pioneers women's team is a 2 seed. The men a 1 seed in their bracket. They'll take on 8th seeded Arcadia tonight at 7 o'clock at the Adirondack Bank Center. If they win, they'll continue to host home games throughout this conference tournament. Some college basketball tonight. Syracuse against Clemson on the ACC network at 7 o'clock. Colgate against Lafayette, also a 7 p.m. start. That'll be televised on ESPN+. Colgate comes in with a conference record of 15-1. Former NFL head coach Jim Caldwell says he's no longer interested in the position that he once held. The Carolina Panthers senior assistant said he doesn't plan to pursue another head coaching job after being passed up for the job by the Panthers and Denver Broncos this offseason. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, who had an amazing end to the season, minus the injury, won't be undergoing elbow surgery as planned this week. The NFL Network says the 49ers quarterback met with Dr. Keith Meister, who recommended they postpone that surgery because of ongoing inflammation in Purdy's right elbow. Former NFL running back Peyton Hillis is sharing his a positive update after he nearly drowned at a beach in Pensacola, Florida. Hillis on social media said that he's expected to make a full recovery himself. After being in the ICU last month, he had jumped into the water to save his 2 children from drowning off the Pensacola coast. Basketball, the Atlanta Hawks are parting ways with head coach. Parting ways. They fired Nate McMillan.
That undercurrent, especially early in the spring when we all get down on spring break and winter break, it's even. I think it's even more intense. I've experienced that before, and I don't care how strong you are, you get drawn away. If the current is strong enough, it will take you out. It will take you under. It can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, Peyton Hillis is like, if anybody remembers him, this guy was like a running refrigerator is what he really was. And
it draws you out further and further to the point where you get exhausted. And it's a terrible thing what happened to the coach from Oneida, and in this case, it's just awful.
I'll just wrap these up quickly. The Browns requesting to interview a member of the Giants coaching staff. Cleveland looking for the G-Men's assistant special teams coordinator, Anthony Blevins. I wish they would just take our quarterback instead. And the Jets say they're confident that with a certain veteran quarterback, they would find success if they were to sign with their team. According to ESPN, the Jets hosted free agent quarterback Derek Carr on Monday and apparently told him a bunch of lies. They said not only could they make the playoffs, they think this team could go to the Super Bowl. I don't know about that. The team also said they believe if Carr were to come to the Jets and win a Super Bowl, he might be a first-ballot Hall of Famer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy
And by
that.
the way, Clinton losing in the playoff round in hockey, and New Hartford basketball advancing on. There are others. Those are the two that I have offhand. Somebody called in this morning. All right. I'm going to get to Scott in a second. Davey, you in there? You all right?
Yeah, I'm right here.
How you doing, man?
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Mojo. Caller number what for let's do the free money question. A little late this morning. I apologize. But still, we could give away the $100. What are we going with?
Caller 8.
Eighth caller. Wow, you're going deep. Eighth caller right now. Call him right now, and we'll take the call right after I speak with Scott here. Eighth caller right now. Chance to win $100 from the Hobica Law Firm in WIBX. Scott is in Kirkville. Hello, Scott.
Well, you better, I guess, everything's going to be hinging on Golgate because unless Syracuse wins the ACC tournament.
I agree.
And the interesting part is they had a couple of people that actually did the bracketology for the NIT, and they're not even involved in that right now, the conversation.
Well,
So that's
I got to
even
tell
more
you,
scarier.
I don't know about you, but I think with the right moves, they got this new kid coming in that's wanted to play from Brooklyn, wanted to play for Syracuse since he was a child. He's 7 feet 2 inches tall. I think we need that height. I don't know. I still like. And you know what? Here's the other question. This is big, Scott. Does Mintz stay?
Well, we're going to find out this INL actually works because this is supposed to keep players from leaving early, and we're going to find out. You know, our big guy, his last name is Weissman. I don't know if that makes the news down there.
Yeah, it does.
But he actually brought in a recruit with rappers and this private plane.
Oh, he had
I think his last name was Moore, I think it was.
He had DeMar Hamlin there the other night. DeMar Hamlin was there the other night.
Yeah, exactly. He brought in Hertz from Philadelphia. That's what his big deal is. Of course, he brought in Brady a couple of years ago when he said he was going to come out of retirement. They had a live mic. He was actually in courtside. But the bottom line is, you're absolutely right. This one recruit, I don't know if he's a project, Bill, because I think he's about 180 pounds at 7'2".
Yeah, right.
And, it just depends. But you're right. But we're going to find out the INL stuff from that standpoint because if he is making a ton of money, there's no reason to leave college unless you're definitely going to be a first-round pick. Because they can make big money. But unfortunately, the ACC tournament is I think the only way to win it. And, of course, they start with Clemson tonight. So, but
I mean,
Colgate, I tell you, with the right matchup, if they can get into the tournament, this might be the year because there is not one great team. And you saw them with the Wisconsin. They led most of the way, and they had to play at Wisconsin's home court. So I'm hoping for a team that doesn't shoot that well, especially from the outside. Maybe they can trade threes for twos. But if you ever want to go to a game down there, that's a great venue to watch a game. It's exciting. The hospitality is great. I've gone down to the last 3 years when there's been tournament games and stuff.
Down to Hamilton, Colgate. Yeah,
down to Hamilton, which I know is not in Hamilton County now, by the way.
That is true. That's Madison County.
When I get up early and listen to you guys, I learn stuff, and that's one thing I learned.
Well, we're very, very educated around here.
Isn't Oneida also in Madison County? Like the city of Oneida is located in Madison County?
Yeah. Well,
Hey, by the way,
obviously
have you hired
sarcastic.
anybody to take Christine's place yet, or?
Well, you start betting on that, and we'll see where that ends up. Okay, we'll see what
actually,
happens.
I'm Jane the barber's doing a great job on my old man.
Maybe you're the
eyebrows
guy
right now, just in case you need a fill in.
All right,
and
you let us know.
It's bad when you get middle age when they trim more off your eyebrows on your forehead.
That is true.
So
That is true.
Just in case.
You let us know. Thank you, Scott. Have a wonderful day, man. All right. Thank you. Let's do our free money question of the day. John in Bridgewater. Hello,
Hey,
John.
Bill.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good.
You know,
All
if you
right.
laugh at Scott's jokes, you only encourage him. So knock it
I
off.
was laughing at how you got to trim the eyebrows and not the forehead or something
That is
like
true.
that.
Yeah.
Anyways, something like that amuses me. I'm sorry.
Are you?
No, I'm kidding, John.
Are you ready to play for $100 here?
Yeah, let's go. Let's give it a whirl.
From the Hobica Law Firm, here we go.
Hope it ain't music.
This is from the category Human Calculator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
From the category Human. So I'm trying to find the category that works for you, John. Human,
yeah. Okay.
Human Calculator. Actually, this could be from two categories: Human Calculator and Religion.
Religion.
Yeah, I'll bet you're really
All right.
good with that. All right, here we go. Here's your question. Ash Wednesday is always how many days before Easter? Ready, go.
Ash Wednesday. How many days before Easter?
Ash Wednesday is always how many days before Easter? Ready, go.
Ash. I don't know. 7.
It's more than 7. It is more than 7.
How about 24?
38?
It's more. It's not 38.
It's not 40, is it?
Do you know the answer, Rick Lewis?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I know that it's something to do with spring.
It is. This is something that I guess I didn't realize, but every year, Easter is always, and you remember you got to hook up the Wednesdays to the Sundays, and it is always 46 days before Easter.
Wow.
Always.
Did not
Every
know
year.
that.
Go back and check.
I'm not
Count the days
no,
out.
All right.
Or I just made that crap up. I don't know. I might have dreamed it. I thought it was on Jeopardy the other night. I don't know.
I'm Baptist, so I can eat anything I want on Fridays.
That's right. Yeah.
So
John,
it don't matter. I'm going to throw a steak on today when I get home.
I'm going to start calling you John the Baptist from now on. So that's it.
God.
It's done, John.
Hey,
You're no
Bill.
longer John from Bridgewater. You're John the
Hey.
Baptist.
Wow.
That's funny. Hey,
I
what's
love
wrong with
it.
Davey today? You guys picking on him?
No.
He doesn't have his mojo today.
Yeah, well,
I go, Davey, what's the matter? Are they picking on you? And he just, I don't know, man.
He misses Jimmy. That's what's going on.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Right, Davey?
I thought the news that he was going to have was that he was going back to New York City to work with Jimmy.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't. Davey, I mean, the offer was there. He just loves it so much with us.
John,
He
if they
couldn't do
take
it.
Davey, since that's,
What?
you're
What,
coming
John?
in to answer the phones. If they take
right.
Davey, you're coming in to answer the phones. They've taken
I
enough of ours.
can't wait.
Oh,
I can't.
I'd love to, dude.
I can't wait to say, John the Baptist. What number call are you looking for?
Oh my God.
I'm looking for the one.
Sign me up for a fill-in,
All right, listen. I'm going to give you.
and I won't even charge you.
I am going to. You're welcome always. I'm
Thanks,
going to
Bill.
give you. I'm going to give you a table at Fat Cats Comedy Club in Washington Mills. A table for 6. Figure it out. Work it out with Davey.
Yep.
You pick a day that works, and come on down. And I must say, this weekend's act is going to be really, really good. She's huge on TikTok. We'll talk to them. They'll be in studio on Friday. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com for details. The other thing I'm going to give you is the $25 gift card, which is good at all Comets-related restaurants and food. ABC, the Adirondack Bank Center, concession stands, Nexus, Taylor and the Cook, great restaurant. 72 Tavern and Grill, love the place. Babes is doing incredibly well. Aquavino,
I
which
went
is
there the other time, not that long ago, and that was awesome.
Aquavino, which is now over in New Hartford. So you can use this $25 gift card for that, and away you go. All right? So
All right, thanks.
stand by. Mr. Mojo is going to take care of you.
Hey, thanks, Bill the Protestant.
Okay. Methodist.
Yeah,
but-
that
all
didn't
right.
work.
It all
Bye.
fits. Stand by. Stand by. John the Baptist.
You
I
like
don't know.
that.
I like
You
it.
like that.
I like it a lot. It's 8:18. Hold on. We have much to get to, and a ton to get to, actually, here this morning. Give you an update on the latest of what prison guards corrections officers, I should say, are dealing with in our local jails and prisons in the area. It's a lot. Rick E. Lewis is in studio. We'll speak to him. Also later on in the hour, Ryan Nobles from NBC is coming up. 8:18 at WIBX.
Adirondack Home Furniture is fully stocked from wall to wall with top quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. With over 40 bedroom and dining room pieces on display and quality sofas starting at $8.99, you're sure to find the pieces to transform your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse, and traditional styles. If you're looking to transform your home or complete a room with a few pieces, now is the time to buy. Because at Adirondack Home Furniture, you'll save the amount of the sales tax. Save the amount of the sales tax on any purchase for your living room, bedroom, office, and occasional furniture. All solid wood and American made, including in-stock items, clearance items, and even special orders. Adirondack Home Furniture has the best value and top quality furniture for your home. Visit them at the former Riverside Mall, Horatio Street, Utica, or browse the inventory online at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
We invest in Herkimer and Oneida counties. We work with the community to make things better for old and young alike. Today, tomorrow, and in the years to come. Every day, we put the community's long-term savings to work. Who are we? We are the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties. FoundationHOC.org. We're your community foundation. Working to build a vibrant region with opportunity for all.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Every day, more than 250 people from all walks of life die from a drug overdose. They include our families, friends, and our neighbors. Their deaths are preventable with a simple first aid tool. Naloxone, also known by the brand name Narcan, is first aid and it saves lives. It's easy to use and can be administered by anyone. Oneida County wants to get it into as many businesses and homes as possible. Sign up online and receive an overdose rescue kit with 2 doses of Narcan nasal spray for free. Go to ocgov.net and click on Save a Life to request your free kit.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-319-5544. 800-319-5544. That's 800-319-5544.
The IBEW Local 43 and the National Electrical Contractors Association have been a part of Central New York for over 100 years. The IBEW state-of-the-art training facility offers classroom instruction as well as everyday on-the-job construction training. From the Carrier Dome to our local hospitals, malls, schools, and city buildings, Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 will continue to help light, power, and grow our community.
IBEW Unica.
Our locally owned and operated small businesses are the heartbeat of our community. The WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM industry aces stand out as leaders in their fields, like Clinton Car Wash, caring for your ride with hometown pride in Clinton. At Clinton Car Wash, they are now offering unlimited plans starting at $19.99 a month. And with an unlimited membership, you can wash your car every day. Support one of these fantastic WIBX industry aces here in Central New York today.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the new Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them at 315-724-6767. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies. We make life easier.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and they're accepting new patients right now. If you're in need of a new family doctor, or you're just having some issues with sleep or fatigue, pain, ADHD, or any other health issues, and you're looking for a family doctor, issues maybe that you have been unable to cure, Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zelensky, all there taking on new patients today. Is someone in your family considering medical marijuana? This might be an option for pain without the addictive side effects of opioids. You can call them today and also visit them online for details. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Have you also been tested for hepatitis C? You may be having fatigue, pain, all sorts of symptoms. You just don't know what it is. Hepatitis C is prevalent in baby boomers, and it is 100% curable. Dr. Shemaleski is Hep C certified. So call today, 315-507-4751. Visit them online, falconclinic.com, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, so now I got people questioning me about the free money question. John the Baptist, be careful, because they're saying I got this wrong, but I don't think I did. I think I got it absolutely right. Ash Wednesday is always 46 days before Easter. It is always that way. And Ash Wednesday is always on a Wednesday, and Easter is always on a Sunday. As I told you, it came from the human calculator category in our question. So let's bring him on. Scott Flansburgh is the human calculator. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
How in the hell does this happen?
What happened?
So, the question is, how many days? Easter is always how many days after Ash Wednesday? And the answer is 46, and that is correct. So,
okay.
What do you? So, how does it always land on a Wednesday and always land on a Sunday every year?
Well, Easter is determined through a huge algorithm. First off, there's several characters it has to meet to fall on that day. So that's how they.
And much of it religious, right? The moon, they'll follow the moon and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's a lunisolar, a calendar. So yeah, it's a fascinating complex. That's the only thing I can't calculate is what day was Easter in 1875 or something like that, because there's too many things you don't know.
Right.
It's just not number crunching. You gotta be an astronomy guy and all that.
Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna bet it was Sunday.
Well, remember a lot has changed over the years in modern day religion. We changed the rules. We've changed the rules several times.
There's like a Catholicism Congress where they negotiate these things, and it changes.
You're right. Well, here's the good one. So they say that Lent is always 40 days. But Easter is always 40 days after Ash Wednesday. Lent begins on Ash Wednesday. How can that be? Well, it turns out that it's more of the Lent thing is more of a metaphor, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not, but
in my research of the Julian and the Gregorian calendar, the one thing I remember is that the whole reason the calendar exists is to calculate the date of Easter. That That was it. Everything else is a bonus on the calendar. That was the whole grinding force.
Right. We make Christmas out to be in America like it's the biggest, but the holiest of all holidays is Easter.
Yeah.
And that's what everything is based on, I guess.
Yeah, there's a scam there, Bill, because they picked December 25th as the birthday of Jesus.
Right.
And then comes along this dude, Santa Claus, and he hijacks December 25th.
Yep. Flying around with a stinking reindeer. It's just terrible.
And Santa almost spells Satan, so I didn't know how to interpret that.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I didn't mean to throw you off on a question, but I love the fact that you actually have an answer for the question. You had no idea what was coming, and I appreciate that. So
nothing to it, Bill. I wish I could be in town. I love the calendar. It's one of my favorite hobbies.
In fact, and I'll give you a second to talk about this, you have your own calendar.
Yes, a calendar that makes sense to our brain and our body. It's a 13-month calendar, and every month has 28 days, and there's a 0 day at the beginning of the year to make it add up to 365. But with every month having 13 months having 28 days, every month is 4 weeks. Every date's the same number, so the 1st is always a Monday, the 5th is always a Friday, the 28th is always a Sunday. Every number would be the same day of the week every month. It would make life so much easier for finances, for personal stuff, for rhythms, biorhythms, pregnancy cycles, lunar cycles, the whole thing.
I'd love to have you look this up, and it's called the broadcast calendar. The broadcast calendar is designed for radio and television, and it is, at least I believe, it's broadcast. The broadcast calendar always has so many weeks per month, and, of course, 5 days in a week, no matter where the months fall. Obviously, there are always 5 days in a week, but the way this is put together, the broadcast calendar allows you to bill advertising on a regular basis every single month, no matter how many days there are in the month. You should look that calendar up. I wonder how similar it is to your calendar.
Yeah, they must jam it. They must jam it together. I will definitely look into it. It's called the broadcast calendar.
You'll find look up NAB broadcast calendar, and it's really kind of an interesting calendar that billing departments in radio and television use.
I will report back to you and let you know what I find and see how similar it is. That's exciting.
You are the man. Thank you, Scott, as always.
Thanks, Bill. See you guys next Saturday night at the Herkimer Originals game.
All right, and the season is winding down, so come on down. All right,
let's do it.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you. And then one more from John the Baptist. He's on now. Good morning, John. Is he still here, Davey? Was he on this line? I think he's left us. He's left the building. Rick E. Lewis is in studio right now. Hello, Rick. Good morning.
How you doing? Oh, I'm just fine. I was listening to the weather report, and the guy's talking about, and it's winter's not over. We're expecting 2 inches or so.
Oh, we're blowing.
Well, I
didn't
say that. Not you.
We're
No, it wasn't-
when I say we, is not us.
Yeah.
They're blowing this way out of proportion.
know.
There are areas that are getting hit really badly, I guess, but we're not going to get it that badly.
No. And
Right?
I wasn't referring to you. I was
I'm
watching
just teasing you.
There's a real excitable weatherman talking about 2 inches of snow. It's like, well, normally in a winter you wouldn't, it's just another day of snow.
I know,
And
right,
now it's not, it's like the big event.
Blowing it out. I mean, we're just blowing everything out of proportion. It seems. I don't think it's going to be. It's just not going to be that bad.
Well, you know.
Now that you've said it,
Now it will be. Right.
Look out.
There may be areas to the north that get more snow, but we're on that edge. I mean, I guess it could come down a little. The jet stream could allow the colder weather to come down into the valley a little more, which would change things. But, what could be bad is the ice tree line and then the trees and the power lines and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I always think of the fact that this above normal temperature, what if it continues through the rest of the year? So we're facing 100-degree days. That's what I'm thinking. Like everybody's going, wow, this is great in the winter. What's it all of a sudden going to take a nosedive?
I just read.
Or is it going to keep getting warmer?
I just read a report that global warming is really not going to. In the areas that to the north where it's not as hot. It's really not going to be it's not going to kill people. And I realize I'm paraphrasing this story that came out, but where you get to the point where it's really, really hot and people are poor and they can't stay out of the heat, that's where people will end up dying. For us, we're going to be like, South Carolina in another 25 years.
Woo-hoo.
Well, but isn't it what they say? And maybe this is a political talking point that isn't accurate, but don't they say the cold kills more people than the warmth?
That is true. There's a whole thing about that the cold actually kills more. So people will actually in the north will actually not as many people will die, but more people will die in where it gets really, really hot. But it's more. It seems that the in colder areas people are more able. They have more financial resources. There's a whole story out about this right now. They did this study out of.
So global warming was racist was the Republican spin I saw on it.
Is that what
that was the spin I saw?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what they're saying is people who can't afford to get out of the heat.
Yeah.
So those poor areas, as you get down near the equator, that's where you'll see more deaths. But ultimately, global warming is actually going to be somewhat beneficial for us in the colder area.
Sylvan Beach will be the beach.
Yeah, the beach. Come on out. Yeah, there's a shark in the beach.
Yeah.
We'll be having sharks and everything up
there
there.
you go. Wow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Freshwater sharks. Okay, what do you have here? You're promoting today.
I thought I was going to talk about our whole week of March Madness. Not March Madness, I'm sorry. Cartoon Madness with Warner Brother cartoons, for the kids during the break.
Yeah.
Matinees all week long and an evening show on Saturday. And then I was going to talk about Black History Month. We have a thing going on tomorrow all day with the movie Cool Runnings playing in the evening.
Nice.
And then this is like jam-packed.
Technically, you're really talking about it.
Yeah. And
after all.
And now the Oscars, we had a little Oscar morning party with people came in, Oscar nomination party, and now we're going to have an Oscar awards party. And then this week we got the Oscar nominated shorts, film shorts. Now these are like people think, well, it's a film short. No, these are like full length movie production level quality. Right. And
but they're just short.
They're just short. They're like 10 minutes to 30 minutes long, and they're put in groups. And we have 3 groups. There's the animated shorts, the live action, and the documentary shorts. And they're playing Friday through Monday of this week.
How long is a short normally? Is there a specific
these are like
time?
10 minutes to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Is that the max 30 minutes?
Well, I mean, I've got the sheet here. There's one that's 39.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was like a technical definition.
I wonder if there's a category.
I don't know what the actual categorization of.
So you're showing those. That's really interesting because most times when people see these on the Oscars, you have no idea what these films are.
And they've been showing at the Cinema Capitol for as long as they've been doing.
That's really a good idea.
2006.
I like
Well, what's really great about seeing shorts is you can watch 2 or 3, and you can leave.
Right.
And then you can come back and watch the live action ones because you saw a couple animated ones, and you don't feel like you're missing. You go to a full length movie and you don't like it. You'll
never get that time back.
Yeah, you never get it back.
It just makes me, when you say a lot of times with the shorts, you always hear the nomination and they get a big round of applause, standing ovation, but nobody ever saw the movie. I'd love someone to go up on stage and go, I know none of you saw this, but I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Well, by coincidence, the other day I was going through my hard drive looking for stuff, cleaning out the files, and I ran into, actually the first time I met you, Bill, was making no-budget television, which started out as a film short. It was the first actual film.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. You know how long ago it was? And this is the part that's killer.
Well, I would say it's got to date back to, I know that when we did it, I was in the Rock 107 studio, but I was there a couple different times. So does it go back to like 90?
Yeah, it's 99. It's 99.
99. So my second stint over there.
Yeah, and I was looking at it and I said, wow, I put this in and I said, it's really funny because it started out as a short and ended up being a full-length video.
Yeah.
And in the contest, there was a contest in there that you had lost a bet and you had to shave your head.
Shocker.
And you're like, you take your hat off. Excuse me, I don't want to take my picture because I just lost a bet. And then I said, well, I guess 25 years ago that was
okay. We got to play this on the air.
Yeah, it's an older. You have a copy of it.
In fact, I'm making I'm going to take the version and make a 25-year anniversary edition and it'll come out at the beginning of the year. Well, you got to realize this. Anybody who hasn't been in the business of making digital content, in 1999, we had 4 gigs of memory.
Right.
And we had to make each scene and export it and then make the next scene. And then when all the scenes were done, we'd have to assembly edit them together.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at it, I go, well, you know, the scenes are really great. What if I could just condense the parts in between? But
all right, I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
How do people get into? What are the times for this?
These films, they are replaying at the normal times we have them at 3:45 and 7 o'clock on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday it's at 12:45 and 4 o'clock matinees, and on Monday at 7. But they're playing in groups of like 90 minutes or 200, 120 minutes, and you can check it all out on our website, romecapital.com.
All right. Rick E. Lewis, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Then when you get that ready, let us know. Remember that was just a scene. It was a part of your whole.
It was a whole movie.
Your
yeah,
movie.
And in fact, we found out in that the people I met putting that together, which would include Frank McBride, you, and a couple other people, we found out, hey, we play music, and that's how we started doing the No Budget Orchestra with the cast members. We played in video stores in Syracuse and the surrounding areas and here, and actually made money on a video production.
How about that?
I guess I owe you a
all comes from
check.
us.
Yeah, there you go.
We're good at helping others make money, just not ourselves. That's always the problem. Okay,
it's called counterfeiting.
Yeah, you're good at that too, Rick. Thank you. Okay, what do we have next here?
Brian Luska is with the. I'm going to say it wrong. The New York State Corrections Officer, Nyskoba. Thank you very much. And we just wanted to touch base with him. Obviously, we've spoken to him many times over the past couple of years as there's been a spike in violence in prisons across the state. Recently, and I believe the incidents were primarily early in the month of February, and in particular at Midstate and Marcy, more than a dozen serious incidents, including violent attacks, and they're seeing a rise in handmade weapons. So we wanted to get an update from him.
Which, by the way, are just as lethal as plastic can be just as lethal. Davey, your lines are ringing, and I have Brian on the line right now. Brian, this is a problem, right?
Absolutely, Bill. It's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's a problem we've been seeing ever since the enactment of HALT.
Can I ask you was there a more severe penalty before HALT was put in place if you had like a shank or you sharpened a toothbrush or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, there are stricter penalties across the board. And what you're seeing is individuals in the prison system taking advantage of the law. And it seems that the New York State not all of them, obviously the progressive legislators, just want zero accountability for criminals inside and outside our prison system. And this is just a little screenshot of one facility of a 2-week span. There was 15 incidents at Midstate alone. I mean, this is happening in every facility statewide. And this job is not the same job that we signed up for. You know, it's become more violent, more dangerous. And obviously we knew signing up that, there is some dangers to the job, right?
Sure.
But,
sure.
You got people that are a little bit ignorant. They'll say, well, that's what you guys signed up for. Well, yes and no. That's like saying somebody starts a tree service and God forbid they cut their leg off. You're going to tell the guy,
right.
That's what you signed up for. It's not. It's becoming more dangerous, and it's absolutely directly related to the HALT, and they really need to take a look at this and ultimately amend it, but repeal it.
Yeah, and I just think they're still stubbornly looking and saying, no, it's working. And we've gone from that point where they're trying to correct some things that have happened around the state and around the country, and then they go too far, and they put the people who are. I struggle with the fact that your job is. I mean, we're thinking about your job is to keep those people in jail, whoever those people are, and have them do their sentence and hopefully rehabilitate them, and then they come back out. But we forget that you guys are on our side. You guys are protecting us. That's the part that I don't think we've lost. At least downstate Democrats and even Albany Democrats have forgotten about.
Yes.
That's a problem.
If we don't do our job, there's criminals breaking out of prisons running around.
Right.
You know, so I mean, we do. It's a tough job, but they just made our jobs a lot harder with the halt, and they see no wrong with it. You know, and the real problem here is they don't listen to anybody. You know, they didn't call even the department talk to them. They didn't call us. Obviously, talk to us. That'd be like me making up rules for your job, though. You know, I don't know nothing about radio. You're the radio guy, not me, right?
Brian, I don't know if you know, we have no rules.
Yeah, well, Bill doesn't follow them. We have them. Bill just doesn't follow them.
Don't use me as an example. Bad example. Bad example. Listen, I'll tell you, though, that we're seeing the same thing on the outside the jail with bail reform and disclosure. And it's just whether it's making the job difficult for district attorneys around the state, for police officers, or for corrections officers. Ultimately, it's not good for the general public. That's the problem. Again, what can people do? I don't think we should stop. You should reach out to your legislators, right?
Reach out to your local legislators, and you know, and then with bail reform, halt is pretty much bail reform just for inside the prison system. You know, there's a lot of people. There's still a lot of good people that reach out to legislators and, you know, are not happy with the issues. But, you know, it's kind of it's an uphill battle, and it does get frustrating, trust me. But, they got to keep reaching out to their legislators.
All right.
And then it's an election vote.
It's just around the corner. Brian Luska, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. Good luck out there. Stay safe.
Thank you,
man. You, Bill.
All right. Thank you. Ryan Nobles is with NBC, and he's on the line right now. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Good. We have a lot going on. Any big ones you want? I know where I want to go. What is on your agenda for today?
You steer the ship, Bill. Tell me where you want to go.
I love that opportunity, and I hit the gas and we steer. I just feel like we are closer right now to a world war than we have been since World War II. Or really, maybe you could go to the Cuban Missile Crisis, go into the 1960s. This is a dangerous time, it feels.
Boy, you jumped right in, head first there, didn't you?
Head first.
Yeah. Well, I do think that there is a lot of tension right now around the world. I agree with you there. How close we are to actual military conflict that involves American troops being put into a theater of war and an all-out, global catastrophe. I don't know how close we are to that today. But, you know, there's certainly been a lot of, these kind of roadblocks that have been built up between the most powerful militaries in the world, and the more those kind of walls continue to be built up, the greater chance there is that the only breakthrough comes if there is some sort of military action. Obviously, I think the bigger problem right now is with China than it is with Russia. I think, what you've seen over the past week with President Biden's trip to Europe, you've seen kind of a hardening of those NATO alliances that have even extended beyond just NATO, that I think have shown a resolve that Putin was definitely trying to break by his incursion into Ukraine.
Yeah.
So I actually think that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. But the Chinese issue is a big one, and if China decides to get involved in what's happening in Ukraine, and then there's also the lingering issue of what happens in Taiwan, that's where things start to
unravel.
Become a real problem.
Yeah. So it is certainly if China begins to assist Russia, especially with lethal aid, this has really elevated everything. But I wonder. The concept was that we bring China into the world economy, we allow them to thrive, and, that was the plan. I don't think it worked out exactly the way we thought, but the idea would be they would be responsible, economically responsible, which ultimately would make them militarily responsible, but it doesn't seem that way right now.
We kind of made a deal, a couple decades ago where we decided that China participating in the world economy as opposed to becoming an isolated entity would be better for the entire world because they're such a massive country with so many resources. And that experiment has worked for quite a while, even though we've turned a blind eye to the increasing kind of totalitarian control that a very small number of people in China have taken, and the continued limiting of the individual rights of their citizens, and the actual sidelining and borderline genocide of certain types of groups just because of their religion or ethnicity. And now we're starting to pay the consequence for that, because now they've become such a global economic force that all of us rely on in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, they own trillions of dollars of U.S. debt. They are number one. They're the number one manufacturer. We buy all of their goods. They, in many ways, keep the American economy stable. But I think your point is an important one, and I do think that at the end of the day, China's main goals are driven by economic matters and by financial ones. And I just don't see where the end game is for China to be aggressive in a military sense, because they won't. If they cut themselves off from the rest of the world by some sort of military incursion, the economic incursion comes right after that. That I can't see China being as willing as Russia has been, Putin in particular, to shut themselves off from the rest of the world through sanctions and other economic casualties, because they've worked so hard to get to this point where they become a global economic force. So I've long thought, and maybe I'm wrong, that it'll be the economics that will ultimately be the guiding force that prevents them from going too far down the road where we'd have a huge military problem.
Right. Let's hope you're right there.
I was going to say, I really hope you're right. But let me ask you this, and this is an oversimplification on my part, but we sanctioned Russia, and then they just raised the price of oil. So ultimately, we paid for the sanctions. I think you can make that argument. Wouldn't that happen to some degree with China? We get so much from them. If we hit them with these economic sanctions, they're like, okay, well, all your toys and everything else that we sell to America,
they'll be sacrificed. I mean, and that's the thing, Ryan. I think that we the one thing that has to worry our leadership is if there is Chinese sacrifice, there will be U.S. will be sacrificing
global
as well.
Sacrifice,
global,
really, global sacrifice. Yeah, right. And that's the argument that American leaders have tried to make about the situation in Ukraine. And I do think it's oversimplifying it a little bit to just say that the kind of there's been a trickle down in the cost of everything, and it's true to a certain extent. But Russia's being squeezed in ways that we don't even understand right now. And there's these oligarchs that have propped Putin up for many, many years who are getting increasingly annoyed with the fact that they're unable to participate in the world economy. And the difference, I think, between Xi and his regime and Putin and his regime is that Putin, there are reports that his health is failing. He is driven more by kind of an ideological bent to create a superpower again in the mold of the Soviet Union that takes over a good chunk of Eastern Europe or even beyond, where China and Xi have kind of more of a different focus. They certainly have a nationalistic focus. They want China to continue to be the China that they know, but they're not necessarily looking to creep beyond their borders outside of Taiwan and kind of indoctrinate the rest of the world in a Chinese mindset. So, I think that we're not seeing the kind of the major casualties of a sanctions war with inside Russia, because we're not inside Russia, and they do a very good job of kind of papering over the real kind of cost of this. And if you listen to American diplomats talk about it, they've always said that the sanctions game was going to be a long-term play, and that the goal was to kind of squeeze Putin until he couldn't be squeezed anymore. And when you have the combination of his military really falling flat on their face associated with the economic cost of sanctions, then that, hopefully that is what leads to his demise.
And what you're really talking about is, the fact that the military is not succeeding is their soldiers coming home in body bags. This is a
they announced today that they're going to conscript another whole, big swath of young men. I mean,
How long do they tolerate it? That's going to be the question.
I mean, you don't. And we have our own history with this in this country about kind of the emotional and toll that drafting a whole generation of young men and women into a cause that people don't wholeheartedly believe in. And it's really hard to get a read on what the average Russian thinks of the war in Ukraine because they obviously don't have the free flow of information like we have. But there's no doubt that this is taking a toll. And the more you ask of the average Russian in terms of what they're paying every day, in terms of basic necessities, and then in addition to that, you ask them to take their sons and daughters out of their primes of their lives and take them to the front lines of a war that you're losing. I can't imagine that this ends well for Putin. But
I agree. But you just don't know. Speaking with Ryan Nobles, who's now with NBC, here is the other part, and I know there are some Republicans that don't agree with this. I think they're absolutely wrong. What are we thinking? Ukraine must survive and must win. This is not even we should not be debating right now about pulling away aid for Ukraine. You hear it, and I have friends I was talking to people about this yesterday. We need to take care of our own before we start taking care of another country. We have to stop helping these other countries. I don't know that people understand if Ukraine falls, what that means. And Brian Kilmeade on this station just the other day said, you know what it really means is that our children and grandchildren will be fighting the world war going forward. We'll pass this on to them.
Well, I have a hard time. So I think there is two parts of this. I don't think that it is, unpatriotic to suggest that writing a blank check to Ukraine is completely responsible. And I
agree with that.
I don't think that members of Congress that are suggesting greater oversight into how these dollars are spent and wanting an accounting of where the money is going and wanting to see results for the investment, I think that is all a worthy conversation, and that is part of Congress's job.
I agree.
That the money they appropriate is spent well. But when you have some members of Congress suggesting any support to Ukraine at all is foolish, you have to wonder where they're getting their talking points from.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're more part of the proletariat than they are part of the U.S. Congress. And I think that's the thing that's the most head-scratching to me is why I think when you see the fruits of this American investment here, right, the fact that the United States has been so willing to defend Ukraine, that's forced France to continue to be willing to support Ukraine. That's had countries like Finland and Sweden, countries that normally do not ever want to have any part of this, even Turkey. That whole region, that NATO alliance has hardened in a way that Putin never predicted. He thought it was going to collapse because people were going to kind of look at their own selfish interest. But you see the fruits of the creation of NATO after World War II now coming to bear in a very real and tangible way. This is us, putting our money where our mouth is and saying when there is a threat to this alliance of Western democracies, we're going to be there to support you.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right, Bill. If we back out, that's when it starts to collapse.
That's right.
Once that starts to collapse, then the whole region is in trouble, and that's where you get into the stages of a global war.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing to say accountability. We want to make sure the money's spent correctly. It's another thing to say that the policy is in error, and we shouldn't be worried about Ukraine because I think that, history will show that was the smart choice.
Ryan Nobles, as always, we appreciate your insight, and we'll be watching and check in next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. Ryan Nobles with NBC. River Hills Properties, the fastest-growing real estate company in Central New York. Portions of today's program brought to you by River Hills. It's all about the services that are provided. No one's going into your home. If you're selling your home with River Hills, no one's going into your home and looking through your home without someone being there to represent you. That someone is your listing agent. Keeps an eye on everything from start to finish, lowering the stress level, making the process that much easier. It's River Hills Properties in Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica. Online, riverhillspropertiesllc.com, serving all of upstate New York. 315-896-1009, Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica-Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
They're very worried about Russia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Eastern European NATO allies meeting now with President Biden in Poland.
Today, as we approach the one-year anniversary of Russia's further invasion, it's even more important that we continue to stand together.
That's as they deal with Ukraine and China's top diplomat visits Russia.
President Biden's growing concern is that China is starting to help Russia.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Warsaw says the U.S. is warning China of serious consequences if it sends Russia weapons, but
the Chinese foreign minister is saying, quote, the U.S. should seriously reflect on what it has done, stop fanning the flames or profiting from it, and stay truly committed to promoting peace talks, as China has been doing.
While in Poland, President Biden's made calls and been briefed on East Palestine, Ohio, where the EPA is taking the lead cleaning up a toxic train derailment. Former President Trump will go there today
to meet with members of the community as he continues blasting the Biden administration's response to the crisis. The small town's mayor, Trent Conaway, has also been critical of the federal response.
We want to get back to, we're a quiet little town of 4,700, and that's where we want to go.
The EPA is ordering Norfolk Southern Railway to foot the bill and to make East Palestine and surrounding communities whole.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Of course, the former president's running again, and he has a new Republican challenger. Vivek Ramaswamy joined the 2024 race, an entrepreneur outspoken about so-called woke policies, telling Fox from New Hampshire,
we're in the middle of this national identity crisis where you ask most people my age, really any age, what does it mean to be American today? You get a blank stare in response, and I'm on a mission to deliver an answer to that question.
Winter is hitting millions of Americans hard. Storm warnings up from California and Arizona, up across the upper Midwest and northern New England. It'll be a blizzard in many areas. About 2 feet of snow could fall in Minnesota. Over 1,000 flights are canceled. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-1441. That's 800-838-1441.
And now a small business setback, as assessed by a beloved family pediatrician.
Oh, hey, Tiger. Big scary tree branch give your work truck a boo-boo? Yeah. Wow. See this thing on my phone here? It's the Progressive mobile app. Just push that little button there and report your claim. Attaboy.
When owning a small business gets painful, Progressive Commercial is here to make it all better. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
What's this? Candy drawer? Who wants a lollipop?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions. Total claims not available in all states or situations.
Sweet deals all month long at your family-owned and operated dealership, Steep Pawnee Chevy in Herkimer. Fall in love and find new roads when you test drive a 2023 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive LS 3-year, 30,000-mile lease with $1,000 down for just $349 a month. You'll say, "Be mine" when you test drive our 2023 Chevy Trailblazer LT front-wheel drive 3-year, 30,000-mile lease with $1,000 down for just $319 a month. Steep Pawnee Chevrolet, offering you sweet deals and the buying experience you'll love. Visit them on Route 28 in Herkimer or at steeppawneechevy.com. See why it's always easy to do business at Steep Pawnee Chevy.
Customer must qualify for A1 top-tier credit with GM Financial. 25 cents per mile mileage penalty over 30,000 miles. All taxes, fees, first payment due on delivery. Equinox stock number 23077. MSRP $30,080. Trailblazer stock number 23130. MSRP $25,595. Must have current lease and household and take delivery by 2/28/2023.
EasyCater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
So right before this important meeting, I get a text from EasyCater that the restaurant lost power. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But EasyCater was like, don't worry. They got another restaurant to fill the whole order. And I was like, are you kidding me? But in a good way.
Inflection is everything. Problem with your order? EasyCater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants. EasyCater. Order 24/7 on EasyCater.com. They got your back.
How far will the left go to win 2024? Will they send out more stimulus checks, pass more student loan bailouts, or give away trillions more to left-wing groups? The simple truth is they don't care if your retirement is eroded down to a fraction of its value. They just want to win. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I want to encourage you to diversify your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into a physical gold IRA. And the only company I recommend for gold IRAs is conservative-owned Birch Gold Group. To learn more, text the word SAFEGUARD to 989898 to get their free info kit on gold IRAs. Do this now before Democrats have a chance to legislate away your life savings. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting HEDGE to the number 989898. There's nothing to buy and no obligation at all. So use your agency. Take action now. Text the word HEDGE to the number 989898.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the new Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them at 315-724-6767. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies. We make life easier.
Hey, it's Brian Kilmeade. Don't forget to check out the free WIBX 950 app.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Local news updates on demand.
The source I can trust.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. WIBX